Good morning, Rap Freaks. Lexiot's here, and we are reacting to the first win of the season for the Raptors. It's a preseason win over the Sacramento Kings late last night. Game ending almost at 1 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're a real one like me and you stayed up in the middle of the week to watch the Raptors beat the Kings, I salute you. Yeah, we gonna do all this stuff we do on the reaction stream. 5 stars a game, go over the team stats, straight goods on Canadian goods, Instagram stories, reaction, Reddit reactions, Karthika's tweet of the day, and all the rest of what we do and say on the Raptor Freak stream every day. That's right. Let's get into it. I'm gonna go right to Trevor J's words of wisdom here. When your time on earth is done, money or material things will not matter, but the love and kindness we've given others will shine and live on forever. Yeah, that energy is a real energy, the energy of love, the energy of connection, the energy of stuff like that. Whoa, we got somebody burning desire to call in here. Thank you, Trevor, for your words of wisdom. And let me go on here real quick. All right, guys, we got this man. He wanted to call right away. All right, we got our call from the sheriff, Seymour Pape from Alberta. Sir, how are you today?
I'm good, man. Really happy. I seen someone almost break a TV last day.
Really? Where? Where was that?
So I went to my buddies to watch the game, and so we were playing Xbox 2K26.
Okay.
On one TV, we had the game on the other TV, and then because he's a Kings fan, he had it on a Kings podcast. They were watching the game live.
Oh, okay.
So we were getting fed the game all different types of ways, but it was funny. A lot of the stuff that they were saying on that Kings podcast is a lot of the stuff that we say over here. And one thing I got away with the girl. There's a girl on there. I'm not gonna say the name, but the girl said that it's like we're a family. And she said, whether you like it or not, we're all together in this. We're not going anywhere. We're going to go through this together. The wins, the losses, the fighting, the cheers. And it hit me. I thought about our family, Raptor Freak family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So she was talking for Kings Nation. Not like, oh, I seen the Raptors. They're a family. I can tell they're a family. No, she's talking for the Kings Nation with the fans and how they should support their team.
Right. And I think they went in with the intentions of winning, but it was funny because once Brandon Ingram started cooking, I heard that you could see the expression on the face. Oh my God, he's back!
Yeah,
he's back.
Yeah.
So he's kicked them before, I guess, on every other place that he's played. Lakers.
The Kings have played the Pelicans in the Western Conference for years, and so they kind of know him a little bit better than some of the Eastern teams do. That's part of the reason why people are sleeping on Brandon in the East, is because he's never really been an Eastern player until now, and they don't know him as well as they should. So, yeah, that's cool, man. So did he literally break his TV? I mean, this seems like a common theme this week.
No, he didn't break the TV, but he was pissed. He was pissed, man.
Why would he care so much about preseason? I don't understand why people get so emotional. Maybe it's just the times and everything's all amped up. So like little things are making people go off. I can understand Trevor's friend, who's a Yankees fan, getting pissed off about a Vladdy grand slam on Sunday when the Blue Jays just kicked the Yankees' ass and put them out. And I can understand that. But why is this guy freaking out over a Sacramento Kings preseason game against the Raptors?
And there's one of the questions that I got for you today.
Sure. Let's go. 4 quarters with Seymour Pape. Let's go.
The intensity of everything. It's the last 5 years of people saying the game has been weak. It's not like the old school guys with blood. All that stuff is now accumulated and built up to what we're seeing, which is full-grown testosterone aggression. Right? Last year's finals we seen with Indiana and OKC, there were so many plays that I seen. I'm like, wait, if the Raptors were playing, that'd be called a foul on us. Or there was a lot of stuff that was let go.
Yeah.
And it showed everyone, okay, let's get intensive. You got to dig down. You got to really want it.
Yeah.
Last night, I don't know if you've seen, Boucher almost got into it with somebody.
Really? In the Celtics game, huh?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown almost fought the whole Grizzlies team. Him and Vince Williams almost got into it. KD almost got into it with Ace Bailey.
Yeah, so I saw that.
Preseason, but the intensity is there. And it's based on the fans, the media putting out, the players are babies. They're overpaid. The game is weak. All this is now built up to the players saying, "Okay, well, we'll go out there and we'll bust chops."
I feel like you're kind of on the right track for the reasoning for why this is happening, but I think it's not as I don't think it has to do with anything that the fans have said. I think it has to do with what showed success in the league last year, and that the impetus for what's happening is the coaches are putting a lot of pressure on the players this year coming back from preseason to go all out. And I would say this also, the world climate right now is stressful for everybody. Everybody's a little on edge. It could be like at a traffic stop and somebody's getting all bent out of shape, like more than normal, just because of stresses. And that may be affecting some of the NBA players also. Is like, this world's going to shit. It's going crazy. What do I have to worry about? I'll go all out. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. So I think it's a little bit of all that. But I understand what you're saying, because there has been a perception of the league that it's soft and they aren't working hard. And that's not the case at this point. This is preseason. These guys used to sleepwalk through this. And this is a totally different preseason I've ever seen in the NBA's history. Ever this year. You're right, man. Chris Boucher's trying to fight someone in a preseason game? Something's wrong.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, because it's the talent. Even when Steph said it, he said this about a week ago. He said the talent level in this league right now, it's never been at this point.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we can see the eye test, right? Or we just see what we see in the video games on paper or whatever. But these guys are actually out there. And for him, who's one of the top players to say that, and you can see it. I think everybody's fighting for a position on a team right now because okay, we're going to get into quarter number 2. I'm jumping into quarter number 2. All right, let's go.
That's done with number 1. What's the intensity in the preseason quarter number 2? Please, sir.
Okay, there's 10 players that are possibly going to be dealt before the trade deadline. Which player to you is the most impactful piece if moved? So the 10 players. You got Kuminga. You got Anthony Simons.
Okay.
Lauri Markkanen.
Okay.
CJ McCollum, who just requested out of Washington.
Of course.
Vucevic, who's been complaining he wants out of Chicago. He wants to go to a better team. Gabe Vincent, who's no longer in the fold in the Lakers.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma, who's
okay. Say no more.
Terry Rozier.
Okay.
Yusuf Nurkic. And Kelly Oubre, who's now requesting out of Philadelphia.
Wow. That's no good. He's one of the best players for them on the down low.
They're going with Edgecom. I don't know if you've seen, but Edgecom, he cooked Maxey. They had one-on-one scrimmage, 1v1 with the Philadelphia practice, and Edgecom came out on top. He cooked the whole team. He even cooked Maxey.
Wow. So Oubre's seeing the writing on the wall. Maybe he also feels like, I thought Philly would be salvation from the Hornets, but man, it's just as much a dumpster fire here with Nick Nurse than I thought. All right. You want me to answer that? I think the most impactful player out of all those 10 players that you name is Markkanen. I think that if Markkanen goes to another team, he will have a huge impact on another team. I think that Vucevic could be a big impact too. I'm not thinking that Chicago's going to let him go, though. As much as he wants to get traded, I think that the Chicago Bulls will be really holding fast and saying, no, you can't. We need you. You're our center. And just wait a little bit. Giddey and Buzelis are going to catch up, and you guys are going to be okay still. I think that's what they'll say to him. But I see Markkanen moving because they've been talking about him moving for a couple of years now, and Utah is just kind of held up by him. And I think he's the best player out of everybody you named there. I mean, I could go nitpick through all the rest of them. Some of them shouldn't even be on the list as far as impact players, to be honest, to me. But, yeah, that's who I think it is. It's Markkanen. I think that out of all the 10 of those, that's the needle pusher out of the 10 of those guys. So, yeah. Anything? What would you say about that, Seymour? I'm interested to know who do you think out of the 10?
For me, Markkanen for sure. I would have him as the but I would go with Vucevic.
Vucevic, yeah.
The reason why I say that is because he's a veteran, right?
Yep.
And he's been in the league. He's a big-time scorer. He knows how to put the ball in the net. He's done that for Orlando. I think that's why Chicago really honed in and got him because they thought he would be more of that Orlando type. But it hasn't been – they haven't put the right soil around him for him to grow properly.
He's definitely a really good franchise piece for a franchise to have, and you don't want to kind of let him go for nothing. And in some ways, like they've been investing so much time in him already, I can get why he doesn't want to be there himself anymore. But we'll have to see what happens with all that. Yeah, and it's no surprise CJ wants out of Washington.
Yeah, because they're going with Bob. They're going young now, right?
Yeah,
Bob Carrington.
He never wanted to go there in the first place, I'm sure. Never ever wanted to. Yeah. All right, you got a third quarter, sir?
Yeah. So my third quarter question is, if we made the playoffs right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, I'm not even if. I'm not even putting if. When we make the playoffs,
yes.
How deep of a rotation would you go if you were Darko? I know this is a question only Darko can answer this, but I'm asking you, if you was Darko, how deep of a rotation would you go based on what you seen last night with the production and everything?
I think that it's important for the Raptors this year to have a 10-man rotation. I think that if he tries to cut the rotation in the playoffs, you can see that the teams that got all the way to the finals did not do that. They ran 10-man rotations too. And it really is because of this frenetic, all-out kind of energy that they're asking and demanding of the players to have. I think that if you're running 7 or 8 guys in your rotation in the playoffs and you've done all year a 10-man rotation, you're really screwing yourself over because these guys are not totally conditioned to run a 7 or 8-man rotation, a short rotation like is classically done in the playoffs. So I think you stick with what worked all year. You may give a little bit smaller sliver of minutes to the 9th and 10th guy in your rotation, but you keep that rotation up to 10. And I don't even like him doing 9-man rotations at this point. I'd rather him go the other direction and put an 11-man rotation out on given nights these days. He did 9 or 10 last year. I'm hoping he'll do 10 or 11 this year. So we have the talent. So and the way we play, we need to do this. We need to do this. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
All right. So next, looking at how the play, there was an era in there, I would say the last 5 years, where players were sort of taking the responsibility into their own hands and where they wanted to play. Mm-hmm. They weren't just sticking with the team. A lot of guys were I don't want to play there, or buddy ball. Or do you think that has shaped the league into what it is right now, or do you feel that was just an era we've moved away from and we're going in a totally different direction now?
So you're meaning like where they play on a team or where they play in position?
Yeah, like that whole LeBron thing where he was joining up with Wade. And
okay, where they play on a team, super team join-ups, and like players trying to force their destiny wherever they want to go. Okay. I think that in some ways, certain players have their own manifest destiny as far as they can decide things. People like LeBron, and to a degree, Kevin Durant can be upset and annoyed and say, I want to trade, and people will try and work with him. I think that most average players don't really get a whole bunch of clout in this area, though. I think that it's a very small percentage of all-stars, legends, Hall of Famers that get to kind of do this. I mean, some guys will be annoying at a lower level, like Kuminga was this summer, and they'll find the reality of the situation is you can't drive the car to wherever you want to go. And Golden State is still in charge of helping you to do what you do in your career. So any player that's getting kind of like angry and wanting to shape where they go and going against a grade, I think that the NBA, because it's so competitive now and there's so many good players coming, they're more likely to just discard the player out of the league than listen to them.
Tucker is a great example for that.
Yeah. I mean, there's if anybody thinks that they can control their NBA career and tell everybody in the NBA where they're supposed to go and where they want to be, you're sadly mistaken. This league has spots on teams, and the GM is looking for jobs to fill. And you can't just come up to a job site and say, I'm working here now. No, the guy has to hire you. And just because everybody is the ego that they could play for any team, that's not true. That's not true, Jonathan Kuminga. And this is what the reality is, I think, in the whole situation. I think that there is a very special few, somebody like a Giannis, somebody like a LeBron, they can kind of direct where they go. But I don't think that's a very small percentage of the league. And most guys need to really be like, I need to catch on wherever I'm at and make the best of my situation. If I do get to free agency, then I have a little bit more choice in what I do. So that's it.
Who like in the game on all the players, just one player, who would you say like really raised your eyebrows and was like, wow, this guy's balling out? Who was the standout player for you?
Like, you mean in preseason so far, or just like right now in general in the NBA?
In that last night's game against the Kings, who would you give the chain to?
Well, well, we got to do the 5 stars of the game, Seymour, and I'll do that in a second. But I'm giving the chain last night to Brandon, and it was just really because he was smooth. He was really like, man, he showed a little bit of a sampler of why we should all be very excited about the Raptors winning more this year, because we have a very capable scorer who you can, people just have to look and see what he did last night, and you'd be like, oh shit, yeah, the Raptors are gonna be good this year. I think if you watched the game last night and you saw what his powers are, you're like, yeah, we should be good. I especially like that play where he dribbled up in transition and stopped on a dime and shot a 3 with full confidence and nailed it. Like, that is a very overpowering weapon, especially with a guy his height. He's able to dribble the ball up the court and then just stop. Nobody's picking him up. He's going to take a 3 and he just nails it with confidence. So you really see the gym work that Brandon does in the way he plays, because like these shots aren't just like as Trevor said last night in our chat, they're swishes. They're going right through the net. Some of the other shots last night by the Raptors were getting shooters bounces. Some of the free throws, a 3-point shot by Emmanuel Quickly, got a shooter's bounce, bouncing on the rim. But everything Brandon was shooting last night was a straight swish right through the rim, through the net. So.
And I expect that, because the thing is for me, the reason why I give the chain to CMB,
okay,
he impressed me a lot. At his size, I don't expect him to be playing the way he's playing. The man just looks like a beast on the come up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Brandon, I expect that from him.
Sure.
The way he played last night, that's what I expect from Brandon. You know, I think for Raptor fans, all of us as a whole, we should be happy with what we see, because this is what we paid for. This is what we expect.
This is what we waited 8 months for right here. Yeah.
The Kings fans, they were used to it. So when I seen their reaction, I was like, okay, this is how this chef prepares his meals. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're used to this.
Yeah.
You know? So it hit me a little different. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to be expecting from this man every night. We might not get it, but it's going to be consistent. It's going to be there, and we're going to have a deep run. Now, my last thing I'm running.
All right, overtime, baby. Let's go.
Did you see what the Raptors, they were saying to each Raptor? They were like, what do you have to say to the Blue Jays?
Oh.
And each Raptor was like saying, Toronto Blue Jays, go get it. Each player said, go get it, bring it home, this and that. Now, Jakob made me fall off my fucking seat.
All right.
Jakob said, hopefully, he said, go get it, Jace, but hopefully we can have a better playoff run than y'all. And I died laughing. I said, wait a minute. For you guys to have a better playoff run than the Jays, that means the Jays wouldn't win the whole.
Listen. I don't know if Jakob knows the history of the Blue Jays very well. Maybe he's just, that may be why. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, good. We got past the Yankees. This is in some ways a small victory. This is huge. In some ways, I'd like them to go all the way and win the World Series, but let's be serious here. A lot of the favoritism for winning the World Series right now in the odds is either the Dodgers or the Phillies, depending on how far they get, right? Who gets past who. And so it's like everybody's expecting a National League World Series champion this year. But I feel like they could surprise them. But I love what Jakob's saying. I mean, as a Raptors fan, we can't be upset about this, because if the Blue Jays get to the World Series and they just barely lose, that means Jakob's expecting to win the championship.
Right. Yeah, it was just funny because it's like, they were all saying, Jays winning. I didn't know that the Phillies and the Dodgers, I don't really pay attention to baseball that much like that.
Yeah.
But
that's what the experts are saying. That's who they're predicting. They think the Phillies have the best chance, but of course the Dodgers are the champions from last year, and they're a team that pays for championships. They've got a huge payroll, They've got that guy from Ohtani. And in some ways, the expected outcome of the postseason for baseball is a National League World Series winner. But as a Blue Jays fan, let's wreck that plan. That's right. That's what I'm all about. Seymour, anything else to add real quick? Go ahead.
Do you think that hurts their sport or not? Like, let's say basketball went that route and we didn't have that payroll cap like they have. Do you think that would mess up basketball, or do you think? How do you think that would?
I mean, that's the whole problem with the thing that happened with Kawhi, is that they tried to do what you're not supposed to do in the NBA, is pay outside the lines extra money that you're not allowed to pay players more. And in some ways, that's exactly the whole problem with the Kawhi Leonard situation right now, is that there's a certain amount of money teams are allowed to spend on their team in the salary cap. And they made up a weird-ass company and paid him shell money from the outside to compensate him further to keep him in LA. So it's exactly the issue with what's going on with Steve Ballmer, aspiration, and Kawhi Leonard. And that, I don't like a league like the MLB being like that. I think that in some ways that's made a lot of teams suffer and never ever get anywhere because they're in low income markets. And if the Yankees can just spend as much as they can driving off of their economic machine, they're going to just have easier chance to win the World Series all the time. But luckily, they are in New York and they're dysfunctional and they have different issues that get in the way, just like the Knicks. Because honestly, that's the big problem right there, is that the Yankees and the Dodgers and certain teams in this league have blank checks to write and get whatever they want in this league. If there's like a really good pitcher or a really good catcher, or there's a really good hitter, these guys are coming to pay them the most, and they're going to those teams. And the other teams just don't have a chance in line to pick up the creme de la creme, top-tier players like a person like Soto, like a person like Ohtani. And that's the flaw in the MLB right now. Now, if the Blue Jays can build a team outside of all that and come and get it and win this year, I'll be so happy. But there is an advantage in money in the MLB that ruins that sport for me. So... yeah.
But in the NBA, there's sort of something like that too, but it's just a different form. Like, for example, like look at a player like D'Angelo Russell. If he was to come to the Raptors, he wouldn't come over here for nothing less than, I'm gonna throw out there maybe $8.5, $9 million a season.
Yeah, but he'll go play for somebody else for $2 million.
Right, he'll go sign with Dallas for $2.5.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's the same sort of things in the same sports. It's just presented different ways.
Right. I mean, the NBA is a hard cap, and in the MLB, it's not necessarily that. And that is true. What you just described is a way where these kind of things can hurt different markets because the market isn't as attractive in other ways, and people are more willing to give deals to vintage historic teams like the Warriors or the Celtics and stuff like that. So, no, I totally get what you're saying there, and I agree. I just want parity, and I feel like the NBA and Adam Silver have done a good job making a recipe for this league to have parity right now. And that's the success of the NFL, too. The NFL has made their league have parity. Almost every team in the NFL every year has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And when you get into January, usually there's like 12 teams that are very viable to be a Super Bowl champion. In the MLB, you get closer to the end of the season, it's really kind of like not as many options who's going to get all the way to the World Series. And I like that it's wide open. Like right now in the NBA, can we say that Oklahoma City is just going to repeat? Can we say that we have any idea who the real true contenders for the NBA title will be this year right now? No, we can't. And that's the same for the NFL right now too. But when you come in an MLB season, you may have more of an idea of which team's payroll and whose makeup is going to be the true contenders right from the start of the season. So it's the parity. It's the ability for all teams in your league to compete and have a chance to get that right there. That is it right there. And that's why I'm really happy in this new era of the NBA that Adam Silver has a league of parity once again. And because there was a little bit of time in there in the 2010s where it was just like all Golden State, all Miami, and all Cleveland, and it was annoying and boring. It was boring.
Hold on. I got a scenario to throw at you. Okay, so right now you like the way the game is at. I'm pretty sure everyone likes what we're seeing, like where the game is at right now, right?
It depends. Some people are like into the Superstar 3 era, and they're not totally into this League of Parity. But these are usually fans of the Lakers or somebody that like, yeah, we just want to have more chance to beat everybody as a big market. Some people are like that. Yeah, but go ahead.
I like where we're at right now, especially the idea that they threw out, like, everybody has a shot. I think this is what has added to the intensity of the preseason, to what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Because with the media and all the fans going out to see, you know what, everybody has a shot. Look at all the injuries to the key significant players on a lot of teams right now.
Yep.
So everybody's going out to say, you know what, day one, we can win. We can win this. We can win. Every team is thinking they can win it. Now, I know we lost our first preseason game and a lot of heads were rolling and fingers were turning, but somebody in the chat hit the nail with the hammer and said, you know what, we lost that first game. Every team sort of lost their first game. We will beat the Kings. And I didn't think we were going to beat the Kings. I said, you know, we don't have Jakob. I didn't like what I seen with Scotty playing against their five.
Yeah.
In the first game, I didn't like what I seen. But Jakob's a great coach. He countered that back this time, and they came out and they ran away with the game. And what's crazy is the Kings cut Mike Brown because Malik Monk was saying Mike Brown wanted them to slow down the offense and set up the offense for Sabonis and have him in the post.
Yeah.
And Malik Monk said, nah, we need to be a run and gun team because Sabonis is a smaller, athletic than most. So we want to run and gun.
Sure.
So they got Mike Brown up out of there. That's why Malik's handling the ball. See, Schroeder is a good push guard too, but Schroeder is more of a set play guard.
I was really surprised they started Schroeder last night. That you know, Monk, you guys were saying, you know, depth chart is saying Monk's the starting point guard, but they did start Dennis last night at point guard, and Monk did come off the bench. But I was surprised by that. But that's an interesting thing about full court versus half court offense for the Kings. And I could see why Malik Monk would be like, yeah, let's run it more. I want to be a full court team. But in some ways, I would say that team is more of a half court kind of offense team because you look at the other pieces that are there. You got DeRozan, who's definitely a half court player. We know that. And then you got Dennis, who operates way better in a half court. And so does DeMattis. So it's like Malik Monk, bro, you may be the odd man out for the philosophy of what that team naturally should be doing with the personnel that's on the Kings right now. So
yeah, that's true. Even Levine too is a set. I would say he's more of a set player. Although
he's versatile.
He can attack the rim and cut, but he's a set player.
He's versatile. He can play either style, and honestly, DeMar can play either style too. But his strength and his most best DeMar is a half court DeMar. It's definitely a half court DeMar. But you know he can fill it up and run just like a youngster when he was young Raptor. But in some ways, that's not what he's trying to do. He's trying to pump fake and lean into you and get some space in the post somewhere. Is usually what he's trying to do now. So, yeah, thanks, Seymour. Man, what a great call right off the bat, man. Anything you want to add just real quick before I move on with the show right now?
Just everybody have a great day. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Those who celebrate it, get your turkey and stuff in and keep it Canadian. And, yeah, man, I'm out.
All right. Sheriff Seymour Pape with the 4 quarters. Great insight from Alberta. And our guy, the sheriff. And yeah, man, very interesting stuff in there. I agree with him about let's keep it in Canada. And let's go ahead and look at the straight goods and Canadian goods real quick. I'm talking about Natrel today, guys. Natrel is a Canadian dairy cooperative based in Montreal. Their brand specializes in milk without antibiotics or artificial growth hormones and distributes the product throughout Canada. So if you guys want to buy Canadian dairy, Natrel is your company. They're out through Agripur Cooperative. Wow, the phone lines are burning up today, guys. We're going to get a whole bunch of calls today, I have a feeling. All right, let me just make sure I'll get you set up here. Caller, you're on the air on the Raptor Streak call-in show reacting to the Kings and the Raptors last night. Hello, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Alex. How's life?
It is our friend Naco the Nacho. That's right. Calling in from the 905. Life is pretty good, Gerald. I say, how about this one? This one right here. Wait, what is it again? The Yankees lose! The Yankees lose! The Yankees lose!
The Yankees game, but I'm glad they lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's going on, Jerry? You want to talk about the game with me, man?
Yeah. CMB had a 3 last night that I didn't think was gonna go in. I don't think he was a very good shooter in college.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you should take from this to see how his threes are gonna be going forward. But offensively, I think CMB is better than I thought he'd be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a homer take to say that he's a top 3 rookie. If I had to it's still preseason. CMB, VJ Edgecombe, and Ace Bailey, I think, have had the best showing so far. CMB is great, though.
What about Flag?
Yeah, Flag's not bad. He just hasn't been stunting like some of these other plays, but yeah, I guess he is being a little overhyped considering what's happening in preseason.
Well, we gotta remember, Jerry. Still, it's only 2 games, and there's a lot of stuff to discover still. But I would say, getting back to CMB and talking about his offense and being surprised about what you're seeing right now, there's 2 areas I'm surprised about with him. And I'm glad you brought up the 3 first. And I'm glad CMB has made a 3 in an NBA game now. And the way he did it, he was wide open. Once again, they did not respect him. They gave him wide open, and he just kind of stepped in the rhythm and just drained it. The technique of his 3-point shot was very solid. It portends into the future that he's going to be a reliable 3-point shooter. And that's fantastic. It's just that I don't know. I wouldn't lean on him too much. If he does keep making them like this, the other teams will start scouting him and they'll start coming to cover him. But he's got to open all day. Now, later, when they start respecting him and they guard him up close, it may be tougher for him to get the 3-point shots and stuff like that. But the other area that I'm really impressed with Colin is that he has a playmaking ability / score myself ability getting into the paint. And some of it is pump fakes and dream shakes. But also, you saw if he's in trouble in the middle, he has a nice pass to the corner for his teammate to shoot a 3. So there's been some really good offensive developments with Colin already in just 2 games of the preseason. I totally agree, man. Totally agree. And I totally agree with you about him being a top rookie this year. I think that even if he doesn't start, and the NBA usually wants to give all rookie nods to people that get to start, I think he could have an impact where he gets a lot of strong consideration. If not on the all-rookie team, he will be on the second rookie team for sure this year. So,
my eye test tells me that he would start on other teams if they had the space for him.
Hornets.
And he'd definitely start on the Hornets. He'd be the 3rd best player on the Hornets.
Yeah.
I would honestly, I think there is an argument to be made that he's our 6th best player right now.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not opposed to starting him over Mogbo. I wouldn't start him over Yak.
No, the starters are set who they are. I don't like people trying to switch RJ out for Grady and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I would definitely. I mean, Colin, it's way too soon. Colin's going to be an eventual starter, but I don't think it'll be this year. And I think that it's it is something that it will happen just naturally because he's going to be that good. But I don't know. Maybe by the end of the year, he is starting because of transactions that Bobby Webster makes or something like that. Who knows? We're just going to have to see. It really is. We got to watch every game and go forward and just take stock and what's going on with the team. And Bobby's going to analyze it, and he'll have to make the general manager decisions that he has to make by the end of the year. So who knows?
Yeah, to see how the chemistry shakes out and whatnot. BI makes me feel a lot more comfortable with the offense and a lot more comfortable with the shots. So that's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's really great to have an emergency valve. Just break in case of emergency. You're getting to the end of your shot clock. You're panicking, and whoa, there's Brandon. Boom, just dump it to him. His long ass arms can shoot over most people. And he's very good at making an open, pretty good high percentage shot for himself in very, very small amount of time. And that's a very powerful weapon that we haven't totally had for a while. I mean, in some ways, Siakam is kind of a similar player that was the last kind of guy like this on our team, but he's not as dependable as Brandon's going to be. Watch. Brandon's going to be very, very dependable. And we saw it last night. Like from the start of the game, he was the main Raptor. He scored like 8 points in the first 2 minutes. And, he was carrying us right away offensively. And that was kind of good because we know when the Raptors can have offensive stagnant times where we can't get a basket. Well, with Brandon on our team now, he can safeguard that. It's like, oh, we're going through a period of 2 minutes where we can't score, Matt Devlin. Well, get BI3 in there because he will go ahead and get a basket when the Raptors are having the hardest time scoring. So that's a real luxury.
I think we had a real good 3-point percentage early in the game. Like I think it was like 7 of 9.
We shot 55% from 3 last night, and we shot 43% from the field goal. You figure that one out. That's so crazy. Like it's a really weird upside down game where the Raptors didn't really do what they normally do to win. And they actually won the game last night off of a really good 3-point shooting, which has been very rare in the last few years.
Yeah.
Very rare. I mean, they shot a higher percentage from 3 than the overall field goal percentage. That means they missed almost everything near the basket, but they made everything outside.
It's crazy.
It's awesome. I'm not hating on it. It doesn't upset me because I'm like, this is a good trend. This is a good trend. Yeah. So, Jerry, so you enjoyed the game. Let's go Blue Jays. I think the Leafs won last night too. So it's like a good night of sports in Canada. So what else is going on with you, Mama Guy? Do you have any shows coming up here around Toronto or something like that? Are you doing any comedy right now?
I'm taking a little break from comedy just because, like, I work nights.
Oh.
So, like, getting out, like 4 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Wow.
I'm focusing,
How did you watch the game last night? Were you watching at work?
Oh, I'm off. Like, I'm on my weekend.
Okay, you have your weekend in the middle of the week, and you were able to watch the Kings game. That's why you were in the chat with us last night on Discord. That was cool, man. Now, you guys know, if you're in Discord, you can come into the voice channel, and you can talk to me directly through the voice channel. If you want to do it that way instead of typing, you can do it through because I'm usually in the voice channel on the Discord during the game, and we can talk if you want to do that. That's for members if you're in the Discord. That's it. What were you going to say, Gerald? Sorry, I cut you off.
During the game against the first one that we had, the one against the Nuggets, I had it on in the background, and just when a call was going on, I just put it on mute.
Okay, so you can monitor the game at work. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you got to figure out how these Raptor freaks can get their games. Come on now, this is important. So, Jerry, anything else you want to add? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to say? Just real quick, while I got you on the phone. I'm really glad you called today. I don't often get the call from the Naco the Nacho. This is good.
For sure. I think the chemistry between RJ and BI ain't that bad.
Yeah.
I think I can see the vision between BI, RJ, and Scotty as the most important players on the team.
Yeah.
Jamal shed jump season. Let's go.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
All right, Jerry. All right. Well, I appreciate a call from Naco the Nacho, straight from Mississauga, calling into the Raptor Freak call-in show today. Let's go, Raptors.
Go, Raptors. See y'all.
Doot. Oh, he hung up. All right. Wow. Bombarded with calls right off the bat. Wow. Trevor J saying Ingram is a bucket. And people say that he and RJ will not work together. Well, they are working like a well-oiled machine. Yeah, Gerald just said something like that about the chemistry between the two Duke Blue Devils is very good. It's we're seeing both getting each other the ball and scoring off each other. You can tell that they're really in the flow with each other. RJ's hit the ground running already this season. Now, he didn't have the best game last night, but you know what I want to say about RJ right now is that he is playing with a new level of defensive energy and intensity and dedication that I recognize. Y'all see RJ's throwing himself all over the place to keep up with the person he's supposed to be guarding in the last 2 games. That is him straight up coming at everybody who said he can't play defense. They said that shit this summer. RJ said in an interview last week, he said, I don't understand why everybody's saying I'm not playing hard on defense. Well, he's showing y'all exactly how hard he's going to play on defense. And because the way he's fighting around screens, the way he's going after each people, he's very aggressive. And just pay close attention to RJ when he's playing that side of the court. You'll see what I'm talking about. That's right. Trevor's saying CMB looking like he is a steal, made a steal and is a steal. He is showing a bit of everything. Yeah, let me do my stars of the game since you guys are man, I love the calls, guys. And if you want to call in the show, you have perfect right to call in the show. Also, if you have access to the phone number for the show, like our friends Seymour and Gerald. My number one star, as I said, is Brandon Ingram from the game last night. Brandon was 7 of 15 from the field. 5 of 7 from 3 is huge. And that's somewhere where he can really, oh my gosh. All right. Never mind. We're going right through them here. All right. We've got our third call of the day. It's busy. We've got MJ on the call today. Turn down your volume on what you're listening to, MJ, because there's an echo.
It's you. I'm listening to you.
I know. It's an echo. It's like the classic radio show problem. How are you doing, Fiercey? I hope you're doing very well.
I'm doing better. Yeah,
that's
we're
good.
slowly recovering. So I enjoy my time, like resting. And like I said, I was catching up on lots of stuff. So I appreciate. I just.
It's good to have time to just stop and be still and catch up and feel your own personal energy for a little while without any like real responsibilities or stresses on you for a little bit, and just to be able to kind of like catch yourself and restock. You know, it's really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So listen, I know you've had like two calls already, so I won't stay long because I want you to go to the screen. But what I wanted to point out is that I was very, very impressed with CMD yesterday. Like, my goodness, he seems very comfortable on the floor. He's all over the place, offensively, defensively. If he keeps it up, I see nice accolades coming for him.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah, I have the strong feeling that Colin Murray-Boyles is a winning championships kind of player because he does certain things that our winning teams need. And the other thing I'm really liking is the potential is really strong because not only is he already strong enough to play in the league, that means he could get even stronger and really be a force around the league on the level of somebody like Beef Stew. Like we think about Isaiah Stewart and how strong he is. Now, he's an offensively limited player, but Colin in some ways is not. And if you have an offensively gifted player that has the strength of B. Stu on your team, that's scary for other teams. And then the other thing I want to say real quick about Colin is in the game last night, there were a lot of times, sure, he looked good. Sure, he was doing amazing things like hitting a three and getting rebounds and putting them back. But there were so many times I saw out there where he was making just slight rookie mistakes, and that if he was just doing the right thing, which he's going to learn, he's going to have an overpowering difference on the court. And he just doesn't know what he's doing yet. Like, as he learns and Darko and the other team guys guide him, we're going to see him do amazing defensive plays. Because I saw all kinds of opportunities that were left on the table for him last night that he just didn't do because he doesn't know yet.
Exactly. But I like to double down on what you're saying. I think that he's going to be like last season, Mogo, Shed, Jacoby. I don't think he'll spend that much time on 905. He should be more on the main roster than 905.
Yeah.
Despite those mistakes you're mentioning, he would be a good addition on the main roster, like on a more permanent basis.
Yeah, I think you're right too. And I've said this in the last couple of weeks. I think that he will go to 905, but maybe for only like 3 or 5 games. And it really will be possibly, it could be possibly because he has a little small injury and he wants to have a rehab assignment down there by Darko. So you got to go down there just to amp up to come back because you were gone for a little bit. Or it could be that there's just a time in the season where because of things on the big club, he wants to go in another direction, showing other guys. And he said, just go down to 905 for a little bit because I'm going to give other guys in rotation a little bit of extra time. And you can get a taste of what it is like on the G League. And trust me, you don't have to be there for long. I think it's important for him to see what it's like down there But it very well could be that he doesn't have to go down there. Where is the threshold of when you're a lottery pick? And yeah, you just don't need to go to G League, because people like OG Anunoby never had to go to G League. OG never went to G League.
Right.
Scotty never went to G League. Is he going to be in that category? Grady went to G League. Jacoby went to G League. I think that Colin, it would serve him better. That's why we have G League, to at least go down there and scare the daylights out of him and say, look, if you don't go crazy, and not that I'm worried about him not being good enough to stay in the NBA, but that motivation really worked well for Siakam when he got sent to the G League, and we see where he is now.
Yes.
So,
oh yeah, look at him now. I think Elijah Martin definitely needs to go to the Raptors Final Five. Yeah. At times it was a liability. At times it was interesting. It was decent. But maybe he's nervous. But so he should go. Like, he needs a bit more reps down there, I think.
He's in a tough position in some ways, literally, because of his style of play, and his body it's not really the right fit. He should be playing more point guard, but he is not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. And that's part of the reason why Chucky Hepburn's getting all the ball handling skills on that unit.
Yeah.
And in some ways, the other thing Elijah's dealing with right now is a mental war in his head. Right now, you got to think Elijah Martin just came off of a national championship with the Florida Gators. And that team, he's like the second best player, right? He's so important. And every single level he's ever played in, whether it's high school and college, he's always been one of the man. And like one of the most important people. Right now, he's on the bottom of the list in some ways. He's like near 15th on the pecking order on our team right now. And that's a very not normal thing for him. In some ways, it's a blow to his ego. In some ways, he could be sitting on the bench looking at Chucky's getting out there and handle the ball. AJ Lawson's getting this. Grady's getting this. When am I going to get my spot? There may be a little bit of that energy inside him right now that he has to really manage right now, because he's always been a top dog on a team. And right now it's like, bro, you're like third or fourth team on the Raptors right now. So
he should use that as motivation, actually. He
should,
like, fuel himself with that and then like show us, to prove Darko that he can get more minutes.
It's tough though. It's tough. In some ways, it's like a similar thing to Marquise Noel. Marquise Noel was an amazing player in the big dance before he came to the Raptors as a rookie, undrafted. And, Marquise can be a big-time player on the college level, but its height is such a huge thing to try and overcome. And in some ways, it's a similar thing for Elijah. Elijah, you could be an amazing college player, win national championships, and be like so good, but there is a ceiling where you hit for your professional career. And sadly, as a second-round pick, a lot of the destinations for second-round picks are not long NBA careers. So it's tough, man. He's got to carve out. He doesn't have a lot of time either. He's got to show that he can be useful to NBA teams. And, in some ways, he's just got to try and carve out a little niche role player kind of thing that he does. Chucky's ahead of him because Chucky is a really good ball stealer, and he can shoot threes and he can carry the ball up and down the court. He did a really good job late last night with a lot of pressure on him, controlling and not having too many turnovers, although they did fall apart and bust up their 20-point lead. But
I would definitely see Chucky as the lead of the third unit, and Battle needs to be in there because the past few games Battle has been off. But Chucky should be like the third, the third backup point guard.
Yep.
Well, from what I've seen so far.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously is.
Olivier Sarr needs to go. Sarr needs to go. Not even even 905. I don't think it'll do anything.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a Jalen McDaniels to Jaden McDaniels situation with the SARS here. I got busy.
Damn. So and one last thing, I'd like to mention, like Nako mentioned, Bi and Ingram. I like the chemistry, the connection when they play together. It was good. It was good. They play well together. I like that.
Yeah, I like that it's smooth, and I like that that you could tell that there's a lot of joy them playing together with each other. There's a lot of joy. That's what we want. We want our players to have chemistry and vibe off each other where there's joy derived from connection. Yeah.
And we feel it.
Yes.
Unlike the Sacramento roster, but I put that in my comments. You'll get to read my comments. But Sacramento, they need to iron some stuff out.
For sure. Well, MJ.
Well, all right, Sam. Thank you for the opportunity to have me call.
And I hope you continue to be getting back to 100%. I hope that Fiercey Jr. is being very kind and sweet to you. And
she is, and she started coaching her teams.
Awesome.
She's so happy. She's excited. I love it. I'm so happy for her.
Awesome. she's getting a new level of maturity and also a new kind of role. That's awesome. I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, Lex. Have a great day, Sam.
We'll talk again very soon, MJ. And I appreciate your call. I love you. All right. Let's go, Raptors.
Let's go, Raptors.
That's right, baby. Woo! Let's go. All right. Wow. 3 right in a row. Really quick. Right at the beginning. I love it. Thank you, Seymour. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, MJ, for your calls today. Fantastic. All right. Getting back on my stars of the game. Brandon was very solid. 7 of 15. He is 5 of 7 from 3. And I love that. That's my favorite stat about what he did last night was the 5 of 7 from 3. That's elite 3-point shooting because it's a very good percentage and it's like 5 for only 7 shots. Let's do that every night, please. Made both his free throws. He got 6 rebounds in this one. In the first game, he only had 1 rebound. Well, he came out and he started collecting more rebounds. We saw him more involved out there on the boards, which is fantastic. 3 assists also, no turnovers, a +10 with 21 points in 23 minutes. That's efficient, quality, top-level score stuff for limited minutes, not even full starters minutes. Great job, Brandon Ingram. And that's the trend so far we're seeing with him. My second star of the game yesterday was Grady Dick, guys. Grady, we've been worried about. In the first game, he didn't shoot well at all. He really looked like a dud. And at the beginning of this game, Grady looked like he was really losing confidence fast. Like if he was his namesake, he was going like shrinking. And I feel bad for him because I started to feel bad for Grady at the beginning of the game. I'm like, damn, Grady's going into his head. I can tell. But then something happened in the game, and it was basically Grady got an open 3 shot, and it changed everything. And that's what we needed. And then all of a sudden, he started doing other intangibles around his game that aren't necessarily 3-point shots, like getting after it and finding things and cuts and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, now we see our friend Grady is growing once again. Yeah, I said it as far as his confidence. And that made me very, very happy. In fact, Grady ended the game with a very decent stat line, guys. He was 15 minutes only. He only was out there for 15 minutes. He got 14 points in 15 minutes. That's high quality. Guys like him and Walter, if I see them getting close to their minutes and scoring, I'm going to be like, yeah, you guys are kicking ass. Good job. Just like Brandon. 6 of 7. So he's dialed in. He only missed 1 shot and made all the rest of them. 1 of 2 at 3. Made his only free throw. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, and 1 turnover. A little bit of a sampler of everything. +10 with 14 points in 15 minutes. Grady Dick, thank you for bouncing back. And thank you for growing in confidence once again, because in some ways I could tell you're in your head too, and a little bit looking like you might be. This is the thing, Grady, you can't have no memory. You're a man who lives in the now, Eckhart Tolle, and you need to just wipe your mind every single millisecond that goes by because you are a new man every single moment that is born. So just don't even think about what happened on the court 10 seconds, 5 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes ago. Just go forward in that moment and go and do what you are trained to do, Grady Dick, and you will be successful. So thank you, Grady, for in some ways you look like you're crashing out with your confidence, and then you pulled that thing back and made it all right. That's right. My third star of the game is actually Jacoby Walter, guys. Jacoby is a similar thing to Grady. He was very high quality in the minutes he was out there. 22 minutes, 15 points, a +8. With 4 of 7 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3. So very nice. Some of the stuff with Jacoby was very patient. Once again, Jacoby Walter is an extremely good fundamental player. He's done everything in his training, growing up and becoming the player he is the right way. And it pays off. And the things that he does on the court, that was a really weird little turnaround shot. It was so patient in the lane that he did. He barely left his feet from the ground, but he made the shot. And it was kind of like a weird little shot like a kid would make in a driveway. It was like, oh, I'm not going to jump, and you're bigger than me, but I'm going to loft it over you to the side, and it's going to hit the back of the backboard, roll a little bit on the rim, and then just drop in. And the reason why that goes in is because of his fundamentals. So Jacoby, thank you for being such a good fundamental player, and your fundamentals shine through your success. 5 of 5 at the free throw line, even for young Jacoby, which is fantastic. That's another thing that they were mentioning in the broadcast. Javon Shepherd, good pinch hitting for Jack Armstrong last night. That the Raptors this is another thing we have not done a whole lot to be successful, like make threes and get to the free throw line. We got a lot of trips to the free throw line last night. Our players were being aggressive and taking it to the Kings, and we were getting rewarded with trips to the free throw line. And they were shooting them very well. We shot 80% from the free throw line, which is really, really important. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block for Jacoby. Also 1 turnover. Yeah, just a great, solid game. This is what I'm talking about from both those guys, Grady and Jacoby. If you guys play like this in games, and you get around 15 points and you only play like 15 to 20 minutes, that is good for me. That's what I want you guys to do as far as young players off our bench that can help carry scoring in the second unit. And that was fantastic. So Grady and Walter both got the assignment yesterday. Colin Murray-Boyles is my 4th best player in this game last night. In some ways, you guys are going to say he's the best player. He's my player of the game. I get that. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Seriously. Yeah, Colin was pretty good. 4 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3. I love seeing the 3 that we talked about earlier. He made all 3 of his free throws. He had 3 offensive rebounds, including 7 rebounds altogether, 6 assists. And this is Karthika's stat of the day on Blue Skies. Karthika said Colin Murray-Boyles averaged 2.1 assists in his college career and only had 5 or 6 or more assists in 3 of his 60 games. He finished with a team-high 6 assists in his second NBA game, all on threes. That's amazing, man. That's really, really amazing. In some ways, it's a really good sign that Colin has a good silver platter, meaning that he knows how to pass it to somebody where they can catch it and have a really easy opportunity to convert it into a higher percentage shot and make it. That's the thing. If he wasn't a good passer, they were throwing to his knees, people's knees are too high or something like that. These guys wouldn't catch and shoot and make these threes. So I like Karthika's stat. And this is interesting. And like Colin said after the game in the interview, he's not used to getting assists because he's the man on the team in South Carolina. And he's the one who's taking the shots. And he's not trying to pass out. Well, on a team like the Raptors, he's going to get to showcase his playmaking ability a lot more, feeding people like Brandon Ingram. So, yeah, Colin Murray-Boyles, fantastic game. I gave him the 4th star. I could have put him higher, but I was really happy with Walter and Dick's bounce back. But Colin also had 2 blocks, which is fantastic. +9 with 12 points in 23 minutes. Solid game. And there's a lot to like there. My last star of the game is a little different. I went ahead and gave it to Chucky Hepburn. I felt like, in some ways that last part of the game was really disappointing. We had a 20-point lead with 9 minutes to go in the game, and then they brought in that unit at the end, and they just were getting killed by the young Kings. The rookie Kings came out, and they were busting us up, Maxime Renaud and all those guys. And, I didn't like that. And in some ways, it did not make that team look good. In some ways, they were careless. They were doing really weird shit. But Chucky had a certain standard of, like, kind of holding it together. He did a really good job ball handling and not losing the ball too much when the Kings were absolutely trying to come back at the end with their young players and mess us up. So there was some poise by Chucky in some of his point guard duties. I also really appreciate that he can make an open 3 if he's left open like that. And then once again, he's a very aggressive on the ball steal guy. And, I'll go over his stat line real quick. In some ways, I'm giving him some credit for the 4 steals in the first game on this game. 10 minutes for Chucky. He got 9 points, so good points per minute production. 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. Made both his free throws, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers. He was a -13, though. And it just really was the falling apart and letting the Kings come back. It was a little scary. I was like, man, don't set this up, Elijah and crew. Y'all, you were handed a 20-point lead by the team ahead of you, and you have the baton in your last part of the relay race. You're going to fall apart right before you cross the ribbon in the relay race? No, don't let that Kings relay team catch up right at the end. And they were in danger to do that. And in the chat, I was saying, man, AJ needs to help them right now. AJ Lawson. Yeah, AJ Lawson. He gets my honorable mention for the game last night. In some ways, I should have maybe made him the 5th star because he hit a very crucial 3 late. But Chucky was making important plays late too. But they were scaring the hell out of me. You got to use some sort of knowledge and expertise in the league, and AJ Lawson had that out of everybody who's left out there. Sure, I'd love Battle to just hit some threes and kill the game, but he's not doing that. He's not stepping up. In some ways, he's not ready as a second-year player to do that. But AJ Lawson's been in this league for 4 years now, and in some ways, he's the most experienced in that last unit. And, well, I also have to give AJ a lot of credit because he's playing all out. You see just how much he gets steal opportunities when he sneaks around to the backside of people and just kind of tries to get the disruption and get the ball loose. So he's an amazing player. He's so useful. And I keep saying this, Darko, you need to keep AJ Lawson on this team for this year. He's a Canadian. We love having Canadians on our team. They play on a different level for us. And AJ's showing you exactly what he gives you. He's a really, really pestering kind of defensive player in the backcourt. And his speed is unmatched. And he will make big threes at the end of the game to help your team close out the victory. And if he's reining in his offense so he's not high volume and he's really like making it high efficiency, there's nothing wrong with his game. And he needs to be our last player on our roster. You notice he didn't even play David Roddy or Jared Rhoden yet this preseason at all. And that may be telling right there. It's like, Jared, we're going to give you a solid. We're going to invite you to training camp. You can come in. And I'm sorry, though, but it's really likely we're going to keep AJ and not you, is what I think is going on right now. But, yeah, AJ Lawson, my honorable mention, 6 minutes, 6 points, 2 of 4 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 1 rebound. And, yeah, just solid trying to, stop the Kings from stealing the game right at the end of the game. AJ Lawson, thank you for making that 3 in the corner when you did. Oh, my gosh. That game got too close at the end. It really did. It really did. And in some ways, it would have looked so bad on our rookies, Martin and Hepburn, if they had allowed that shit to go wrong by the end of it. So, yeah, there's my stars of the game for today. Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, Colin Murray Boyles, and Chucky Hepburn. Honorable mention to A.J. Lawson. Yeah, honorable mention to A.J. Lawson. That's right. Let's keep going. In the chat, Trevor J saying the Blue Jays won and put out the Yankees last night. Is fantastic. Start spreading the news. Yeah, I love all the Blue Jays celebrations last night. John Schneider, everybody. Vladdy on the post-game show with David Ortiz. The Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. I love that, man. I wonder how our friend Milbester feels this morning when he sees Dominican men like him making fun of his team. Yeah, David Ortiz, Santo Domingo. Important Dominican player in the history of the MLB, just reveling in the Blue Jays' success last night. An old Boston Red Sox enemy becomes a friend when we have a common foe. And David Ortiz was reveling in the Blue Jays' success last night, loving it with Vladdy, making Vladdy say it over and over again on the broadcast to Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, who were pissed off. You could tell Derek Jeter was really pissed off. Alex Rodriguez is a little pissed off, but not as much. Embarrassing, humiliating, a little bit like inside the NBA with Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. And David Ortiz had his moment going in on 2 very prominent, important Yankees legends on live TV. You can't write this shit. It's so beautiful. You can't write this shit. Vladdy, Dominican. David Ortiz, Dominican. Milbester, Dominican. So be happy for your Dominican countryman, Milbester. Maybe that'll help your tears this morning. Yeah, your tears, man. I wonder if Milbester will show up ever again on this chat. Seriously, this may be devastating to him. We love you, Milbester. And if you're in your feelings as a Yankee fan right now, we understand, bro. We understand. And you know what? We love you, bro. And I just hope you're okay. That's all. Vote for Zoran, okay? All right, vote for Zoran, my man. Come on now. All right, let's see. What else we got? Vegas Aces also won last night, and they looking like they want to sweep the Mercury. Up 3-0. And Phoenix, you're in trouble. The Aces are going to win this, obviously. You're going to draw it out. Can you stop the sweep? I don't know. We'll have to see. Aces are coming, and it looks like they're going to get it. They're going to get it. That's right. Trevor's saying that 5 stars of the game for him were Ingram, RJ, Walter, CMB, and Grady. Now, he's got RJ in there. I can't put RJ in the starting lineup because he did not shoot well last night. He was good, though. Honestly, I agree. I don't think RJ was bad. I don't get mad at him. He was aggressive early. The synergy with him and Brandon was good. His three-point shot looked very good last night. He was very good from three last night. 3 of 11 for RJ. All 3 of his shots that he made were three-point shots. Everything he went inside on did not work. So RJ was kind of the epitome of the whole team with their shooting percentages from 3 versus their field goal percentage. And he is the epitome of it. He made 3 of 5 3-point shots, and he took 6 shots inside the paint, not 3-point shots, and he missed all of those. So 3 of 11 for RJ last night, 23 minutes, 13 points, 4 of 6 to the free throw line. His free throws looked a little bit better last night, but he still missed a couple that really badly. Like he's doing a little bit better. The thing I don't get is he has such a good set shot on the 3. Like, and I think it's because he's a rhythm shooter. That's why he's shooting these threes better than his free throws. So in some ways, I don't know if this could help you with your free throws, RJ. Maybe you could find your rhythm at the free throw line. That's why people dribble or something like that. I don't know, because you're so deadly from 3 with a rhythm shot. Why can't you make a rhythm shot at the free throw line? It's trying to derive a rhythm if that's the way you shoot and you're more successful. So I don't know. I'm trying to workshop RJ's free throw woes as best as I can. 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 0 turnovers for the great star Jay Barrett, plus 18 on the court. That's the other thing. He was the highest plus minus on the team, even if he didn't shoot that well or get a normal RJ offensive game. He had a winning impact out there. And I think part of it was on the defensive end in some ways. In some ways, I could say that RJ in some ways was pulling a Scott in Scott's absence, that he was being a more defensive-oriented player last night to a degree, and that was more important. But he did work some chemistry with Brandon, and he did make some threes too. So, yeah, I in some ways, it wasn't a bad game for RJ. You know, the ruling on Scott is tendonitis on him. Like they're saying he has knee tendonitis, and that's why he didn't play last night. And Jakobs, it's a back thing with Jak as far as why he's not out there. And I was shocked when Scott didn't play. And I like that they started Oshai because once again, it's like Darko has a pecking order. He has a hierarchy. He has a seniority list. And Mobo and Oshai started a lot of games last year. And in some ways, they were the incumbents to come in and take the spots when Jak and Scotty were out. I'm really glad he started Oshai last night. Now, Oshai didn't have a better game than he did on Monday, but still, he was a very effective starter to start the game for this one. And I like him being on DeMar right from the start, just to kind of clamp him down and don't even let him get going for the game. You know, the Kings on the other side, you could tell this was their first preseason game. This was their first preseason game because they had a lot of rust to shake off. They had a lot of things to work out. And, you know, Dennis being the point guard and just showing up there and hardly playing with anybody, that kind of showed last night. Now, there was some really interesting synergy between Sabonis and Schroeder already, because in some ways, Sabonis is very similar to some of the players that Dennis plays with on Team Germany. So there's a natural thing. Some of the things, though, I'm wondering about how Dennis is going to fit with Zach and DeMar. And they really do have to work out their relationships. You can tell these guys are not bonded or kind of chemistry together yet with Sacramento. And that's a big part of why they didn't look as talented as us, is because they're really not connected right yet. And they will. They'll get there, I think, this year. So, you know, we'll see. Kings fans, don't get all upset. It's your first preseason game. And a lot of, you know, you have important players that are new that haven't really played there that long, and you're still trying to build up chemistry. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a long season for the Kings either way. It's going to be a tough season for them. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat here. Let's see. That's Trevor's 5 stars. And Fiercey's saying, good morning, fam. This is Fiercey said good morning on the phone. Now she's saying it in the chat. Hang on. I got to get back to your crap. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. All right. Hang on. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Great defensive display yesterday. CMB is NBA ready. And my 5 stars of the game are Brandon, RJ, Grady, Jacoby, and Colin. Very similar to they're the same as Trevor's, and you just take RJ out and put Chucky for mine. Yep. Fiercely saying vibes around Sacramento are off. The defensive presence is off. Team chemistry is off. Crowd support is off. Their purple beam stayed off. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of what I was just talking about. Dennis is brand new. He's barely been there. And if he's going to be running point, there's going to be an orientation curve that is a little bit more tough, especially when it's your starting point guard and he's absolutely brand new. That's tough. I was really mad that the Kings don't have a proper bench for the Raptors to sit all their players on seats. And I know that the Kings have the same thing at their end. They have players at the other end. But come on, owner of the Kings, provide seating for all the players on the teams, especially when most of your arena is empty. Like, seriously, nobody was at that game. Why the hell is Alrish Shamshay having to sit on the floor? Seriously, what the fuck is that? Seriously, that pissed me off, honestly. I was like getting mad about that. I was like, why the fuck did the Kings making the Raptors sit on the floor? Oh, wait, the Kings are sitting on the floor at the other end, too. The young players. I still say there was a whole empty row behind the Raptors bench with no fans sitting there. Go sit in the stands, just like right behind the bench. I don't know. Does common sense prevail? Can it in some situations, please? Seriously. Let's see. Fiercely saying, Seymour, why is your friend a fan of the Kings, setting himself up for disappointment? Well, they're out west, and that could be part of it right there. It could be that they have some sort of tie to California. And, well, the Kings, maybe they were a Vlade Divac fan or a Chris Webber fan or something like that. I don't know. I'm with you right there. Why is your friend a Kings fan, Seymour? Seriously, that's weird, man. I don't know many Sacramento Kings fans, just in general. Most of them live on the West Coast. And not many of them will admit that they're Kings fans on the East Coast. Oh, that's it right there, man. Nako saying BI is smooth. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it in his rotation. His rotation is just so amazing. Like the way the ball spins in the air when it's going into the basket. Woo-wee! That's a high-level guy who really knows hooping. He's a hooper's hooper. That's what they're saying, right? That's right. Fiercely saying, go Blue Jays. That's right. Let's go Blue Jays. Let's go Blue Jays. I'm glad y'all beat them in New York. Yeah. Yeah. The Yankees lose. Yeah. I love that. You go. Yeah, the Toronto trifecta win last night. So the Leafs won too. Okay, regular season Leafs coming out there and getting a win. Raptors win in their preseason, and the Blue Jays win in the postseason. Woo-wee! That's a good day. Good to see you, Kaloy. Let's see. Kareem Thomas is here. Good morning, Kareem. I don't care who disagrees with me. Colin Murray fucking Boyles isn't getting minutes. He's fucking taking it. He needs to be in the rotation, 24 minutes per game. He's locking down defender Dasa. The Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. Emil Bester's here. He left. The Yankees lose. I think you're right. Colin's going to be taking minutes in this rotation and get in time. Darko's already a fan. You can tell. He's been saying stuff like, oh, I'm so amazed with his strength and his defense already. Yeah, that's very useful. We're going to see it. I'm telling you right now, man, defensive intangibles matter in today's NBA. They really do. And Colin Murray Boyles may be the best defender in this class. Seriously, everybody trying to say Cooper Flagg's the best defender in this rookie class. I don't think that's true. I think that the hype will put him in the spotlight to say that, but I don't think it's actually true. I think Colin's going to look like the best defender in this class over time. Very much so. That's right. Bryce Lawson's in the house. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Good morning to Bryce, holding it down for us in the Bluegrass State and the great Wildcats country of Emmanuel Quickley and Olivier Sarr, the Kentucky Wildcats area. That's right, Bryce Lawson. He's a Raptor Wildcat, and in some ways he runs with IQ. That's right. Let's see. Laurie easily is the best player on that top 10. Yeah, I agree with you, Nako. I agree with you on that one for sure. James is here. Good to see Raptor Freak James. CMB feels like Scotty in his rookie year. Yeah, there are parallels to it, but I'm going to say this. Like, oh, man. Listen, I know everybody wants to compare these guys in different ways, and some people are ready to toss Scott out just because CMB is looking so good. That's crazy. Why wouldn't you want to have two of these guys on your team? You're crazy not to want to have both of them. That's what I say. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Colin's not going to be like Scott exactly because he's not going to start, and Scotty did. Scotty started in his rookie year, And he got Rookie of the Year. Collin's not likely to get Rookie of the Year. If he does, that'd be amazing. I wouldn't be against it. But there's all levels to this, right? There's all levels to this. Fiercely saying Chris Boucher just got baptized. The timing to fight is weird. I'm just hoping he stays grounded and doesn't switch personality now that he's with the Celtics. As an example, Satu Sabali now plays like a thug with the Mercury. She's way different as a Dallas wing. Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, this can happen with players where locales bring out different personalities in different ways where they play. It could be the style of the play. You know, Dennis Rodman on the Pistons is different than Dennis Rodman on the Spurs in some ways. And then Dennis Rodman on the Bulls, that was even more different in some ways. So there's some truth to this. Let's go do the Instagram stories since you brought this up, because there is something there that I want to talk about. First of all, Chris has made a post of himself in Boston, and he said this. This is the caption, is basically, if Robert Downey Jr. can be both Iron Man and Dr. Doom, well, and he's wearing the green. So it's a really it's a funny thing to say about his career with the Raptors being Iron Man and his career with the Celtics is Dr. Doom. So this kind of is what you're talking about, Fiercey. That is like he's going into his villain phase. And he's Dr. Doom now because he wears green. And he was Iron Man for the Raptors. So that's what Chris is saying this morning on his Instagram, is that he's now Dr. Doom. And he's making a reference to the MCU and what Robert Downey Jr. is doing with his roles. So that's pretty interesting. There's Jacoby sitting next to a table, and he's kind of had the message on his Instagram the last 24 hours. I'm just trying to live my best life and live the dreams that I've always wanted in my life. And I think you're doing a good job, young man. You really are. You're fundamentally right. You know, if you're going to have the name Kobe in your name and you're going to have that around and say you're named after him, you better be fundamentally correct and work like Mamba mentality. And I think that Jacoby Walter does not disappoint the great Kobe Bryant up above. If Kobe Bryant's watching Jacoby, he's like, yeah, he can have my name. That's the thing. You carry a lot of weight if you're going to try and be Jacoby Walter and the name that you carry. And it's really easy for people to say, man, you're a bust. You're a joke. You're not Kobe. You're not anywhere near there. Does anybody say that about Jacoby, that it's a joke that he uses the name Kobe? No, because he's fundamentally built his name right with respect. His game is solid. And in some ways, he would probably get that check of approval from Kobe Bryant as far as who he is as a player. So that's what I'd say right there about Jacoby and his name. There's Jared Roden in the practice working out before the game. We're in the Raptors number 8. Man, I hope you get your shot. You know you will. You know, this first game of the preseason was really the hardest game. Denver was the hardest game in the preseason. And now we're going to get 4 more games against Eastern teams that, honestly, we should win all 4 of the games. I don't care if we're going to Boston. I don't care if Boston's coming here on Friday. I don't care who Boston is right now. We can kick Boston's ass. We have kicked Boston's ass in the preseason the last few years. And I think that they're weakened now with Tatum out and their changes to their team, that we should run the floor, them off the floor tomorrow. We'll have the preview tomorrow morning. Celtics at Raptors at Scotiabank Arena Friday night, preseason action. I'll have all the latest lineup news, the ref report, everything to get you set up for a game tomorrow night. But yeah, I'm predicting in the other 2 games of the Wizards and the Nets that the Raptors are going to win their next 4 games in the preseason and will be 5-1 to end the preseason. And that loss at the beginning of the preseason is going to be the only blemish. And it'll be similar to Summer League, because we're 4-1 in Summer League. We'll be 5-1 in preseason. That's my prediction right now. We'll beat the Celtics twice. We'll beat them in Boston and in Toronto. Watch. And Jared Roden, you're going to get your time in some of those games against those teams. That's right. Elijah Martin has got some highlights he's putting on blast here. Elijah Martin's little basket that he made. He made a 3 in the corner. He was wide open, and he hit it. And that's good stuff, Elijah. We need you to make your big play. Now, Scotty is impressed with the play from last night on his Instagram. It's the block shot of Malik Monk that Colin got. You know, look, this wasn't a regular 3-point shot block like Chris Boucher would do when he led the league and that kind of stuff, running out, closing out, and blocking somebody's 3. In some ways, Colin was not anywhere near close to Malik Monk's top of the key 3-point shot that he blocked last night. He really got him from like almost 10 feet away. It's kind of crazy how he blocked him from so far away, because he just barely got the piece of the ball to direct the deflection. And luckily, one of the Raptors caught it, and Colin ran up the court and got in front of Malik and made that dunk. That was a really cool play. Scotty liked it. That's what he put on there, and he's yelling Rook. So Scotty has reposted Colin's blocked shot of the 3, and then the dunk at the other end, boxing out Malik Monk from trying to block him. There's Chris, and his mood is Chris Boucher's mood is the guy dancing in the kitchen. He plays this sometimes. The hardest green now, guys, is the hardest green. He's celebrating his teammate Luke Garza, who had a double-double in his Celtics debut. Chris, what did you do in your Celtics debut? I'm wondering. There's Jamal McGlure going out to a party. There's Scarborough's got jokes, has always gotten events. And Jamal McGlure is a big supporter of Scarborough's Got Jokes. So y'all go check out the Scarborough Got Jokes shows. Gerald, you should try and get on that show. Go out there and give them your jokes in Scarborough, my guy. Go play both sides of the city. That's right. Eric Smith advancing to the ALCS, the Blue Jays. That's right. Moving on. That's right. Eric Smith is in his Blue Jays cheering mode. That's right. He's a media person, but he really does love his sports teams in Toronto. The Fan 590's Eric Smith. Start spreading the news. The Blue Jays won yesterday. The Yankees are all out of it. New York, you're out. Yeah, old Blue Eyes is sad and got tears in his eyes because New York is out. The Yankees lose. There, Eric Smith's posting David Ortiz with our guy Vladdy Jr. The Yankees lose. So good. I love that shit, man. I love that shit. They did a whistle challenge. The Raptors official admin. This one was kind of good, actually. They've been making them do goofy shit, like put your face through a piece of paper on these brain teasers. I guess they get these from TikTok or some bullshit. Well, they put whistles in the Raptors' mouths, and the test is to make them whistle because they laughed. And so they're trying to do goofy shit, like dance weird ways to get people to laugh. And IQ makes Shed bust up. And then like there was another one where AJ Lawson absolutely got Oshai to laugh through the whistle. It's a fun, joyous clip. I like it because they're happy. In some ways, you're not making them totally look like a fool. They're making themselves look like a fool to get the other person to laugh. And in some ways, I like that better, Raptors admit, than some of the little games you've been playing with them so far this season. So yeah, that whistle laugh test thing was hilarious. That was a good little clip. All right, yeah, there's all the clips from the game last night, the scores and stuff like that on Raptors official admin. That's good stuff covering the game. Really, really like it. Yeah, there's Karthika's Colin Murray-Boyle's assist stat right there. Good stuff. There's Colin Murray-Boyle's dribbling with his team in practice on his Instagram stories. And there he is sitting on the sidelines with Grady and Jacoby before the game. 3 guys that played very well last night. Good job, guys. Good job. But Colin's living that NBA life now. He's finding out what it's all about. What is it all about? Let's see. Toronto Tempo on their Instagram, they're showing people watching the WNBA game last night, the finals game, that bells and whistles. So you go down and find your watch parties for WNBA finals action before this series is over and the Aces slam the door because it's coming. They're going to be slamming that door soon. So Tempo watch parties around the country. Savannah Hamilton has been messing around with the Dragon's Den people and stuff like that. It's crazy. I don't know. She was on Dragon's Den episode with Andrew Scott or Mr. Drew Scott or something like that. I don't know what Savannah's doing exactly. I don't know what she's doing exactly. Also, she appeared on the Violence of Truth podcast, which is run by Will Strickland. Yeah, so check that out. It's the Open Run episode 229 with Savannah Hamilton as the guest. And I'm sure she's on a podcast called The Violence of Truth. Well, let's hear the truth, Savannah. I want to hear that truth. Also, Cinderella Stories is always good to check out. Jamal Shed was wishing a happy birthday to his significant other yesterday and showing a nice picture from their European vacation this summer. And she does a little kick up when she kisses. AJ Lawson has got all kinds of Raptors open practice clips from last week at Calgary and showing kind of his journey where he came from in different jerseys to get to this point because he was on the Calgary Surge for a second on the CBL. So, yeah, it's cool to be back in Calgary but playing for the Raptors and being at open practice. That's right. There's the whistle test on his there. Serge Ibaka, where in the world are you? Well, I know he's listening to Burna Boy. That's what he's doing. It looks like he may be on a plane somewhere, going somewhere. Not totally sure where Serge is going. Where in the world are you going, Serge Ibaka? That's what we're always wondering. Lindsey Dunn has got a Jacoby Walter interview with William Liu on blast, and they're talking about the riding around in the car with Lindsey singing Michael Jackson with Jamal Shed. That's cool. And Coach Andrew Jones is proud of his daughter Ava, or was running cross country meet. So yeah, Andrew Jones being a dad. There's your Instagram stories for today. That's right. Yes, lots of highlights from last night on the Instagram right now. That's right. Lots of highlights on there. And Scotty's putting on blast Colin Murray Bulls. That's right. Nako's saying VJ's real good. Him and McCain could be something. Well, we'll see. In some ways, I don't wish anything good for the Sixers. And, I want VJ Edgecombe to be one of these guys who can't shoot, but he's very athletic and he scores a lot, but he can't shoot. That's what I want him to be. I want him to be an undersized player at his team, at his position, and to be a defensive liability. That's what I want for VJ Edgecombe. Those are the two things I want for him. I want to be like a Russell Westbrook. You can be very athletic and do all that kind of stuff, but I want you to be one of the worst shooters in the league also. How about that? How about that, Gerald? That's what I'm wishing for him. James is saying Ingram scores with ease, 21 points in 23 minutes. That's right. Very smooth, very ease, very awesome, and very happy to have on the Raptors. That's right. Fierce is saying this game was like a scrimmage for BI. Light work. Yeah, I don't want to characterize it as that. I mean, the intensity in the preseason's totally different than ever before. This is so crazy how teams are getting after it. And, it's going to be very telling in the season just how all the energy amps up. Because if this is preseason, we're at this level already, going into regular season, going into in-season tournament games, going into playoffs. Oh, my gosh. It's just going to ramp up more and more and get crazier and crazier as the season goes on. G's here. Good to see G. The results are in, and Vladdy is their daddy. There you go. Raptors look nice. Was great to see their chemistry, and even the Leafs won their opening. So great Toronto night. There you go. G's got the recap, and the trifecta was accomplished last night. I love it. I love it. I love it. Kareem Thomas saying the way the Jays are playing is death by a million jabs and the occasional haymaker. No, just play solid. I say in any organized sport, if you're involved, play the fundamentals like Jacoby. And in baseball, there are fundamentals that if you do them right, you can be solidly having a better chance to win against your opponent. And some of it has to do with fielding. Some of it has to do with hitting and, just how you handle things and you're not trying to have any mistakes. Errors are not things you want to get in baseball. That's right. Errors can be deadly to your team winning. Yeah, and pitchers, there's a fine line of what you got to walk to keep your team on the winning side of things. That's for damn sure in that position. Oh, my gosh. That's right. G saying, Fiercey, that's why even though I'm not an Aces fan, I want them to win because Mercury are bad. Bully ball, and it's not pleasant. Injuries against them and now on them. Always injuries around them. So they're playing a little bit like the Detroit Pistons, huh? The bad boys era. The Phoenix Mercury are a dirty team. They foul a lot, and, the Aces are going to put them out. Okay. Well, I guess in some ways, like Jack Armstrong said, you get what you get. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Rapid crew. Good morning to the coach, number one Pascal Stan. Cool Cat is in the house, and Wayne Strainer is here also, our sergeant at arms. Morning, Rapid Freaks. I was totally impressed by Chucky Hepburn. My opinion has changed due to his poise, defense, and offensive execution. He is capable of running a crew. He and Shed are a deadly duo. Yeah. Once again, this is something that is maybe an issue for Elijah, is that look, in some ways you're in the same class with Colin and Chucky, and it seems like they're getting gains before you. And that's true. Chucky Hepburn's a very useful player right now, it looks like, because Wayne's right. I have more confidence in him being a solid point guard and not turning the ball over and doing certain things. And we do want a lineage from IQ to Jamal to Chucky. We do need a 3-point guard depth level of things. God forbid if one of the other point guards goes down, maybe Chucky moves up and he gets that backup point guard position behind whoever is there still, just to help us out. Because in some ways, I don't want to totally have to rely on Scott to be the point guard if we are missing both our other point guards. So Chucky's good insurance for this. And I like Wayne's vote of confidence on this. See, Wayne's a longtime fan. He really understands basketball to a degree, and he feels comfortable in trusting Chucky. That's a big seal of approval in my book right there, because in some ways that doesn't come easy from the sergeant. Seriously. Blackhawks got his welcome once again in the chat. He's done his Raptors Vince Carter logo, welcome. Thank you for supporting the channel, Neil. I appreciate you. You're a dear friend. I appreciate you, man. Fiercey saying exactly. And now Satu may be out due to concussion protocol. Without her in game 4, Aces get the dub. She got plus 20 points yesterday. Phoenix record shows they lose when she doesn't perform well. Well, there you go. You live and die by the sword. That's how it goes right there. Kareem saying Barnes benefits with Jakob in the pick and roll. Ingram and RJ are gelling like mash and gravy. All we need is quickly to be able to allocate the touches and open the floor with shooting. Yeah, let's talk about quickly last night, because I'm going to see some casuals will be like very pissed about Emmanuel and how he played and not thinking that he did very well. But other people will be all right with him. Hang on a second. I want to do something real quick, guys. I had the heater on, and in some ways the heater is just too hot at this point because it was cold in here when I got in here. The thing with Emmanuel is, like, look, some people will be casual and say Emmanuel's been horrible so far this preseason, but I don't think that's true. The first game he was very solid. Last night he wasn't totally great, but he did do solid things within the whole thing of it. Emmanuel, 22 minutes, 2 of 9, didn't shoot well. That's really what happened. He didn't shoot well. His 3 was not going in. He was 1 for 4. 3 for 3 at the free throw line, though. 2 rebounds, 4 assists with 3 turnovers, which is not the best there. A plus 13, though, so they were winning while he was on the court with only 8 points in 22 minutes. Yeah, in some ways, Emmanuel could be more effective for sure. But in some ways, he also didn't really hurt them. He could have made some more of his shots, but he was playing very active, solid defense otherwise. So in some ways, I don't detract him. Sure, you could expect more from him and want more. We won the game. That's what matters in some ways. And then, Emmanuel is going to clear it up. In some ways, he's having a slow start to this preseason. And I'm not mad at him for that. Jonathan Mobo in the starting lineup, not as good as he was on Monday, but not bad still on the down low. 2 of 3 from the field. 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 3 offensive rebounds, 7 altogether, which is the main important stat right there. 2 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, and 5 points in 19 minutes. He did fuck up really bad in the middle of the game, and Darko went off on Jonathan. Basically, there were like 2 trips down the court where the Kings got a red carpet rolled out to them right to the basket. And this was a problem last night. In some ways, it didn't matter because we were playing the Kings. And they didn't totally take advantage of it to be able to beat us. But we had no interior defense properly last night. There was way too often that the Sacramento Kings were going right into the lane and scoring easy. DeMattis was getting no resistance and getting right into the lane and getting easy shots. And that's no good. And in fact, that was a problem late in the game too when they were starting to come back. But yeah, our defense down low was really bad last night. And that's really partly because Jakob and Scott were out. And Jonathan was blowing assignments. And Darko had to read him the riot act at a certain point. He had to. Abaji in the starting lineup, 3 of 7, 1 of 2, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, a turnover, and 7 points in 20 minutes. Nothing really super substantial. But in some ways, the early defense on people like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine was welcome. But honestly, the whole team of the Raptors that played last night, they all kind of contribute to winning in little pieces. And some of the guys, Brandon got 21, but most of the other guys didn't get double digits. There were only like 4 guys that got double digits. And there was, 5 actually. And there were a lot of guys that got like just chip in scoring to get to the 130 that we scored last night. And so there was a real team effort and little chip-ins from people like Emmanuel and Oshai, along with the more important scoring from Brandon and Grady and Jacoby and stuff like that. So that was, everybody chipped in their little bit, just like the plate that they passed around at church. That kind of happened in the game last night. Sandro, not as impressive as he was in the first game, but he had one of the highest plus minuses on the team last night, just behind RJ, plus 16. And he was out there with winning basketball. And we saw how much he hustles and gets around the court. It wasn't as much as 3-point shooting and offense that we saw last night. It was more him being connected and playing in the flow of the game and helping with some of the defensive stuff on DeMattis. 17 minutes for Sandro Mamukelashvili. 2 for 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, a plus 16, 5 points in 17 minutes. But you can see he's quality even if he's not hitting threes or scoring. There's all kinds of things that Sandro Mamu contributes to the Raptors. Olivier Sarr is just a bust, man. And if Jakob wasn't out, he would not be playing. He would be in DMPing just like David Roddy and Jared Roden right now. If Jakob was playing, he's not playing. If Ulrich was playing, he's not playing. If either one of those two guys were healthy, Olivier Sarr is not even seeing the court. And in some ways, it's totally right and justified because we see just kind of how much of a mess he is. He's too undersized to be a good defender, and his offensive skills suck. Let's just put it that way. Jamison Battle, not totally back into it yet. Grady got back into his rhythm, but a lot of other, like Jamison did not. Jamison still 10 minutes, 1 of 2 from 3. He did make 1 3-point shot that he took. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 3 points. But he's at the end of the game, and he's in that unit where they're just drowning underwater because the Kings are coming back and eating up the 20-point lead. Jamison, where's your 3-point shot? Where's your scoring? And I'm talking about AJ Lawson being one of the more experienced guys on the court at the end of the game. Well, in some ways, you are experienced in situations where you could help in the last 2 games of the preseason in bombing threes right at the end. Put a dagger in the game, Jamison Battle. Greenies, put a greenie in there and kill the game, specialist. That's what I'm saying. You have those opportunities the last 2 games, and we didn't see that. Rise to the occasion, my guy. Rise to the occasion. I already talked about AJ Lawson. Jamal Shedd's an honorable mention for last night, too, honestly. 16 minutes, 7 points, 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, a plus 8. Just solid stuff from Sheddy. Sheddy gets in there, and he's dogged on defense. He's running things. He's a nice, steady tempo. I think getting back to Wayne's comment, it's nice to have 3-point guards that can control the pace of the game in their own different ways. And Emmanuel does control the pace of the game when he's out there, but Sheddy's a little bit more steady in the way he does it, a little bit more old school. Emmanuel's doing it more from a combo guard standpoint and changing speeds and picking up pace in different ways that way. Chucky Hepburn seems like a very solid ball handler that doesn't get rattled when people are really hounding him. And that's part of what Wayne saw last night that gave him the seal of approval. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Elijah Martin, final person to go over on the box score. 9 minutes, 2 of 3. He did make the only 3-point shot that he took. He had an assist and he had a block, but he had 4 turnovers in 9 minutes. In fact, he was making really bad turnovers. Like in some ways, he was just sloppy. Some of it was on inbounds plays where we were inbounding the ball to come back up the court, and he just like fucked up. And the Kings were aggressive and took the ball. Yeah, those 4 turnovers were really not good, Elijah. Really, really not good. You're not even the point guard, and you got 4 turnovers. And that was in 9 minutes, bro. Don't be like a center like Koloko and collect fouls. Don't be a guard and collect turnovers. It's a similar thing. The big man don't want fouls. The little guys don't need turnovers. And that 4 turnovers is unacceptable for the amount of time you're out there. You had 1 less turnover than a point. And that is not looking good. In some ways, you look bad for it. All right, there's the rest of that box score. Looking on the other side, let me give some shine to somebody on the other side. DeMattis was 19 points, 7 of 10 from the field, 5 of 6, 4 rebounds, assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. He was a minus 22, which was the worst on the team. So in some ways, Sabonis was not a winning player for the Kings last night. Zach LaVine, 16 points. I mean, he could do that in his sleep. That's really kind of what that is. DeMar didn't score anything. He only got 6 points, and Dennis got 5. So and Keegan Murray was annoying. He was a strong physical presence in this game, and he was doing stuff with the blocks right at the basket. That was really annoying. Some of that stuff looked like fouls, honestly. But Keegan Murray's an annoying player. And honestly, I get so annoyed with the way the Kings fans yell his name out during the game. That's so goofy. That's so goofy to me. Do we need to do this for one of our players just for fun? Say, Scotty Barnes, so we can be really obnoxious to other teams? Like when Scotty does something good in the game, can we start doing a Keegan Murray for him, Raptors Nation? That'd be awesome. I'd be about that. Off the bench, this Cardwell guy was really a spark late in the game, 6 of 7 with 12 points for them, a plus 16. He really was the one trying to get them back. Renault was interesting coming in. And Plowden. Yeah, interesting. I'm glad they didn't give up the game at the end. The Raptors, man, if y'all had lost that game right at the end of the game, I would have been like, man, what are y'all doing with your life? Seriously, don't do this. Don't do this, man. Don't do this. That's right. Let's see. Fiercely saying hi to Seymour. Cool Cat saying, love to see the fast-paced style of our bench crew. It's different styles. Like, I would say this. The Raptors starters did a good job winning the game right from the start. And it was really Brandon Ingram. And he carried them through the starting lineup. And then coming off the bench, Grady, Jacoby, and Jamal doing the things they do to carry the bench mob. And yeah, they were really solid. And I'm glad Grady woke up. I'm glad Grady woke up. If he had a dismal game and just shot 0 for 6 and done really, really bad for that game last night, I would start being worried. But our concerns about Grady, are we still having them? Because he woke up and he showed those intangibles, and some of the stuff he does is awesome. He even had the putback off the missed free throw, which is totally a Grady kind of play. He knows his teammate might miss it, and he runs in there and he puts it back and gets us the 2 points anyway. There was a lot of good shooters roles for us, and the basketball gods were on the Raptors side last night. Let's put it that way. That's right. Let's see. Chriscom's here. Good to see Greg Chriscom. Let's go Blue Jays. That's right. He didn't want to predict anything yesterday, and you know what? And that's what happened. I made it to this morning without hearing why Scotty didn't play. Any updates? It's a tendonitis, officially, a tendonitis in his knee. So it's a knee tendonitis. That's the official ruling for why he was out. I don't know. I would say this. We were saying yesterday, Scotty's going to have a big game after such a dud on Monday, but I don't know if he was up for it. And this may actually part of the reason why he didn't have such a great game on Monday is because this tendonitis has actually been bugging him. So either way, we want to support and love our franchise player. We don't want to denigrate him when he's not available or he's not playing exactly right. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. In some ways, his tendonitis may have hurt him for his game on Monday. And well, if he was going to have a bounce back game and show everybody who he still is, he wasn't up for it last night. And that's perfectly okay. Let's see him play on Friday. How about that? Against the Celtics. That's right. Against the Celtics. Let's go. Cool Cat saying, I would love the Aces to sweep the finals 4-0 in respect on AJ's name. Aja's name? Is that what you're talking about? Or AJ Lawson? AJ Lawson. I have major respect for AJ Lawson. Yeah. You know what I'm realizing? Part of the reason why I pronounce things differently than Matt Devlin on the broadcast is because I grew up in Florida. I'm a Southern guy to an extent with my A's. Like I say Aja Wilson. He says AJ Wilson or something like that. I'm like, I don't know the right pronunciation for the best player in the WNBA's name. To me, I read it as Aja Wilson. But somebody else may say it totally differently. And some of it is because I pronounce A's differently than Canadians. Canadians pronounce A's different up here than I grew up in Florida. And I think that that's sometimes some of the difference between what I say on this channel and how other people pronounce other names is because I formed A sounds totally differently growing up in the States than up here in Canada. And I'm realizing that more and more. And I hear it on the broadcast. And I'm like, well, is that how you actually say their name? Because I've seen other people say their names totally different in other places. A big example of this is David Adelman. They called him Adelman. But when I was growing up and I was watching TV and it was CBS and it was the Portland Trailblazers versus the Detroit Pistons, Vern Lundquist called him Rick Adelman. Rick Adelman. That's what the American broadcasters called him when I was a kid. So how the hell did his son become David Adelman? That's what I don't totally get. See, because his Rick Adelman when I was growing up. I don't know. I think it has to do with the way you pronounce the A. And I have a different pronunciation for A growing up regionally in Tallahassee, Florida. So I think that's it right there. I don't know how to say Aja Wilson. I say Aja Wilson. I mean, I would figure the A, both of the A's in her first name would be the same sound, right? Aja. Not Aja or what are you? Who's fucking calling her something different? Some people call her something different. I don't know what the correct pronunciation is exactly, but I call her Aja. Aja. That's how I pronounce A's. So I don't know. Let's see. Chris comes saying, I know a few dummies who didn't see the value in CMB. Can't wait to tell them I told you so, especially people who claim they know hoops. I mean, I was in that category at first. I saw an undersized guy, but I didn't know the heart and the intangibles that were inside. Thank God Bobby Webster did. And some of that was in the metrics from the combine. Some of that was in the eye test. But to me, when I was looking at his stuff, I was like, you know what? I don't see much difference between him and Asa Newell. And in some ways, I see Asa Newell as being bigger and better. But I maybe have been totally wrong between the Georgia and the South Carolina products from the SEC. Because I thought Asa Newell would be a better pick than Colin Murray-Boyles. And I wanted them to pick Asa over Colin. I was very much on this channel. Colin wasn't in my top 5 to draft because I saw him as undersized and too much of a risk. But Bobby saw that risk and he said, nah, you're wrong, Raptor Streak. You're going to see. And I was wrong. So, I mean, there's going to be levels of everybody being wrong on this. I mean, if somebody is really egregiously saying some crazy shit, yeah, circle around and give them receipts, Crisco. But, I mean, I can understand why people didn't totally like the pick. We were all trained to think that it was going to be Malawach, and then we picked an undersized power forward instead. And in some ways, that was underwhelming and kind of like, oh, man. It was kind of like his reaction to getting drafted to the Raptors. It's like, oh, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, what the fuck? I thought that was supposed to be common. I mean, I get that. I get that. Isaac's here. He's got me on blast. He's got me in the starting 5. I love it. Love it. Good to see a benevolent one. Holding it down in the nation's capital of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, the greatest country in North America. That's right. Mexico, you're second. That's right. You're second. Although Mexico may be better than us at this point. If I'm being fair, their leadership and government is really progressive and doing amazing things for the Mexican people right now. In some ways, I say Mexico is greater, and they don't need to have the Gulf. They're just great, and they're badasses. And in some ways, Canada, we could learn a lot from Mexico right now. Let's pay attention to them more than the States. How about that? How about that? Seymour saying players beefing online is a whole new level NBA has never seen. I like what Kevin said to Ace Bailey in that game. He said, who the fuck are you? You just got here. You sit your ass down. You just got here, bro. You ain't got no weight to throw around. I'm Kevin Durant, motherfucker. Sit your ass down is what he said. Intense. That's right. Zach Easy is here. Good to see Zach Easy. We're here every morning talking Raptors. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And I hope you circle back and come back more days this season and talk more Raptors with us. How many games does BI3 play this year out of 60 games? Over or under 60 games? I hope he plays over 60. I mean, we got to remember, once again, all right, there's 2 factors here. Much like Kawhi, he's got Dr. Alex. Dr. Alex, the silver-haired fox, is amazing at load management. In fact, Brandon has talked about in recent interviews how great the Raptors have dealt with his injuries and how confident he feels and how healthy he feels. He's 100% right now. And the thing is, Brandon didn't play since last December. He was chomping at the bit to get back into NBA games. He doesn't want load management program like Kawhi did. In some ways, Kawhi was always a little bit hurt in our championship year, and we really did have to load manage him to do the outcome that we got from him, and we did it perfectly. This is the thing. Brandon's not hurt in any way right now. He has no necessary need to be load managed. In fact, he's going to tell them, fuck you, I don't want to be load managed. I want to play every damn game because I've been sitting around feeling like I'm wasting my time without being able to play. I want to play if I can play. So I see load management is not going to be a factor for Brandon unless, sadly, there is some sort of injury to a degree. He's going to try and play every single game this year if he can. So I'm going to take the over on that, especially since he's not trying to waste his life being a sideline player in the NBA injured all the time. So the motivation is there from him to be out on the court and prove some things and not miss games like Ben Simmons. And then the second thing is he's got the silver-haired fox in his corner to help him be at the top level with his health as possible. Great question, Zach. My answer is over 60. He's going to get over that, hopefully. We hope for that as Raptors fans, right? That's what we hope for. That's right, over. That's right. Seymour's saying that. I sure as hell hope so, is what he's saying too. I like it, Zach. You're on the right mindset here. Players need to beef on court. NBA turn into WWE. Well, why don't they just do what Brunson and Halliburton did? If you guys have a beef, we're sending you to Triple H, and you're going to be on Next. Yeah, you're on Next, the wrestling company, and you're going to go in there, and you're going to have your little exhibition match. Take care of that. Okay, Ace Bailey, Kevin Durant, come on in here. Yeah, y'all have a problem. Yeah, go in the ring, and we're going to make a storyline. And if y'all get real juice out there, well, you go ahead and shoot. You go ahead and shoot, Kevin. You just start whipping him then if you're really mad at him. But it's supposed to be fake. Y'all work something out. I think the veteran Kevin Durant needs to win this match. We'll book it a certain way. I don't know. Is there some sort of collaboration between the NBA and the WWE? and making it, this is no fighting on the court. Maybe the referee changes the rules. And Guillermitas Petraeus is saying, sorry, Kevin, Ace, you guys, you got the WWE card. That's right. It's not a red card. It's not a yellow card like in soccer. We're playing this. You guys have to go fight on WWE now because you've made a beef on the NBA court. I mean, that may be good cross promotion in some ways. It'll definitely be sports entertainment. That's for sure. But yeah, that'd be weird, man. What a weird kind of concept I just described right there. A blending of the WWE and the NBA. And saying, yeah, well, now you guys are on the main event of WrestleMania, Halliburton and Brunson. You're not just playing in the NBA Finals in the Eastern Conference. Now you got to go fucking wrestle at WrestleMania, and you got Jake Paul or Logan Paul in your corner or some shit like that. I don't fucking care. It's crazy. Seymour's laughing. Fiercely saying, whoever edits the highlights at Sportsnet sucks. 75% of the plays were Jays missing hits, Yankees scoring, etc. I would have never thought the Jays advanced. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch any of that. I do like this new trend by Raptors official admin to come out with a highlight reel of just all the Raptors baskets from the last two games. This is a trend for the season. This is a great one, Raptors official admin, because they have a clip where you can just watch every single basket the Raptors made during the game. It's out on there, along with the regular highlights clip also. No interviews for these games, the last two preseason games, though, unfortunately, for me to cover after the game with Darko or anybody like that. It's preseason. They don't have to do that. That's right. Let's see. Eye candy. And woo, I don't know what Seymour's got a scared guy there. Zach saying Quickly needs to do his job this year. What is Quickly's job, though? We got to figure it out. And who's determining what his job is? Who's determining what his job is? I think his job is to be healthy and play the best basketball he can and to help his team win in the best way he can. And I think as long as he's staying healthy and he's winning, and there shouldn't be any problems with exactly what his job is, because everybody on this team can do anything in a lot of different ways on the court at any time in different ways, like in their bag. Scotty is a multi-purpose player that can do so many different things that in some ways the jobs for the Raptors, sure, some of them are defined. We could kind of understand what Brandon's supposed to do. But in some ways, Emmanuel's, he's going to be more morphing into a more complete player as a two-way because he's going to have to guard more intensely like Shed and all them are doing. And so in some ways, if Emmanuel's offense doesn't look exactly right now, he's adjusting to a heavier load of energy spent on the defensive end. And that he's running around doing more Shed kind of defensive guarding stuff. In some ways, he's not as burdened with the offensive load because Brandon is here now. So it's a weird thing. We got to just see how it all shakes out. To have expectations about what Emmanuel's game should be and his stat line should look like, is just don't do it. Don't do it because we're going to be disappointed. It's more likely that everybody on this team's stats will go down in different ways, but in weird ways go up also. And the only stat that absolutely matters for the Raptors is the win column stat. It's not any of the individual stats of any of the players. It's about the team winning games. And if Emmanuel Quickly's production or his stat line doesn't look exactly right, but we're winning a lot, I'll take that. So good to see you, Zach. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Fiercely dapping Nako. And Zach's saying Darko's going to pull a John Schneider and take the Raptors to the finals. I love it. I love that. I love that comment right there. You're going to dunk, man. You're a rookie. You just showed up today, Zach Easy, and you're going to go ahead and get a dunk right now. That's the thing. We have things called dunks for great comments. And this is getting a great comment dunk right here. Zach Easy, you have debuted on the dunk charts. You got your first three. They count for three. That's the crazy thing. Yeah, I love that. I think the Raptors following in the footsteps of the Blue Jays this year and getting to the postseason is fantastic and likely. And I would love this to happen. I don't know if we'll get to start spreading the news because we beat the Knicks in the playoffs. That would be awesome too. Really, seriously. We could mimic the Blue Jays by getting the Knicks in the first round and kicking their ass or something like that. Maybe we're the fourth and they're the fifth or something like that. Or maybe we see them in the second round in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Either way, if we got to play the Knicks and we get to put them out like the Blue Jays just put out the Yankees, woo-wee, get a double dip of Toronto putting you out of the playoffs, New York City. I'll be all about that. That'd be fun. Start spreading the news. The Bronx Bombers are done. I want the Blue Jays to be a part of it. The World Series. That's right. Let's go. Blackhawks saying Darko played a full roster last night, and you can see the improvements among the players across the board, second and third rotations. Yeah, I like the deep stuff. It's a little haphazard and stressful. The last team giving up the lead and making it close at the end. It's a little bit disappointing, but overall, the quality of the Raptors play was very good right up until 10 minutes to go in the game. And then after that, yeah, it's just kind of like, don't fucking lose this game in 10 minutes. Guys, come on now. Get your shit together. We ain't trying to see y'all lose right at the end after all the great work that the guys before you did. You can come out there and drop the ball in the last leg of the relay race. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Neil's saying AJ Lawson is safe. Roden and Roddy have not been showcased. Sarr is definitely heading to the G League. Yeah, I think these assessments are true, and I love it. I mean, AJ did play with a real panache on the court still. Like, he gets after it. You see how quick he puts on the burners. That man can get up and down the court so fast, and he really is a real threat and annoying person on defense trying to steal a ball. You saw he was very crafty in the last minutes of the game and trying to do what he does. So, yes, we love AJ. We know everything in his heart is pure for the Raptors, being a kid from Brampton, and he's living a dream. And in some ways, I don't like crushing people's dreams. If we're going to cut somebody from training camp, it damn for sure better not be Brampton's AJ Lawson. Now, his dream, pinch him, is, look, he's out on the court playing against his growth in his mind. We saw an interview with AJ Lawson and before the season started. He said, they asked him, who's the greatest Raptor of all time, AJ? And who did he say? He said this guy right here, who we played against last night. So it's always a thrill and probably fun for AJ Lawson to be around and on the court with a great historic Raptor like DeMar DeRozan, somebody he watched as a child. I mean, at the beginning of the game, I'm seeing RJ matching up with DeMar, and maybe there is a little bit of like pointing Spider-Man at each other. But also at the same time, there's a young kid named Rowan Barrett Jr. who idolized and watched a player like DeMar DeRozan, and he's playing against him in an NBA game last night in the preseason. You got to love that. You got to love that. You know, RJ in some ways is like, man, I get to play DeRozan, man. Oh, it's so cool, man. It's so cool because like I watched him when I was a kid. I used to go to the Air Canada Center all the time with my dad and watch the Raptors play, and DeMar was my guy. DeMar was my guy. Yeah. You know, RJ's got DeRozan code. AJ's got DeRozan code. Jamal Shed's got DeRozan code. Jacoby's got DeRozan code. These guys are doing their life right fundamentally, and the game shows for it. And in some ways, DeMar DeRozan, even though his history with the Raptors is weird and up and down, he came out in an interview and said very much, Toronto's his place. He's always going to be Toronto. And he ain't letting this Kendrick Drake shit get in the way. It has nothing to do with him in Toronto. Drake and Kendrick can have their own relationship, and people can think this about DeMar because of his involvement with Kendrick. But honestly, the only relationship that matters in this whole situation has nothing to do with music is DeMar and the Raptors. And that's all that matters. And he even said in this interview recently, he's like, in 20, 30 years, the things with me and the Raptors will only matter. And none of this rap battle bullshit that's going on right now is going to matter. And that's the thing right there. DeMar very much professing, as he's heard the diss tracks continue to come out. He knows Drake has another piece of shit fucking thing coming out, talking trash. And he doesn't care. He's above it. He's a professional. He's playing the NBA. He don't give a shit about some rap battle and stuff like that. In some ways, he has to go allegiance with his hometown in Compton because that's where he's from. That's a really, really, in some ways, superseding Toronto, but it doesn't supersede it to the point where Toronto doesn't matter anymore, and they are excommunicated as an enemy to him. No. The love for the city of Toronto and where he started his NBA career and built himself is so much respected and loved still. And he made that very clear in an interview recently. Anybody's wondering about where DeMar is with Toronto and us, everything's fine, guys. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. That's right. That's it right there. That's right. Randolph's here. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks family. Are you a part of this day? Fulfill your purpose. Do not put off the things for today until tomorrow. Use your time wisely. This is a PSA against procrastination, guys. And the more you know, it's like, don't put that off. All right, Jimi Hendrix, I think I'm going to wait till tomorrow. No, don't. I don't think I'm going to wait till tomorrow. No, don't you stand. You go ahead and do it today. Get that shit done. You know, you may be like, I'll do this because it's better because it's not going to rain. yes, tomorrow it's going to rain today. I'm not going to do it today. I get that. In some ways, you can plan your life like that. But it's good to try and get things done and not be a habitual procrastinator. And that is good. That's good. This time is never promised. And you may intend to do things down the road and you may never get to them because in some ways things could change on a dime. Let's just put it that way. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. I appreciate everybody watching me today. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying, is this the call-up show? Where can I find the number? Shaq Lindsay, you are a member of this channel. If you go to the membership tab on this channel, you have access to see where the number is and you can call me right now. So on the YouTube channel, if you go to my YouTube channel page, go to the posts tab. There's a picture of Masai Ujiri with a phone that members can only see. And you are a member, sir. You can see the number right there. And that number is the number to call Shaq Lindsay. So if you want to call me, you can find it there. If you can't find it there, you can find it on our Discord server. It's posted there. And it's also posted in our Facebook chat on Facebook also. So those are the places you can find the number. And yeah, it's on the YouTube channel and the members only posts. And you can see it. You'll see a Masai Ujiri picture with a phone. And that is where the number is, Shaq Lindsay. I'd love for you to call. I'd love to hear your voice and see what you have to say. As a supporting member of this channel, this is one of the rights you get. Blackhawk, thank you also. Fiercey, thank you. I appreciate everybody who supports this channel. That's right. And James, thank you for being helpful. Kareem saying, I have Lex's phone number saved, suckers. Well, in some ways, I mean, you've come to get-togethers. You've been interacted with me for years now. You've been a long-time Raptor Freak. And in some ways, that's just what it is. I don't know. You don't have to call them suckers. Okay, Booker T. Okay, sucker. Spinneroonie next, man. Come on now. Smooth saying this. Reggie's happy. He's a member of this channel. He has access to the number. If he wanted to call me, he'd call me right now. I was watching the Blue Jays win last night, ALCS. The Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. That's right. People in Toronto are saying this all over the city right now. There's somebody saying this every single second right now around the world right now. There is. There may be some people in Dominican saying it. There may be some people down at Young and Dundas saying it. There may be some people out in Vaughan saying it. There's some people saying it over in BC somewhere. The Yankees lose. There's somebody saying it at every second of the day right now. Somebody's saying it somewhere. That's right. American League Championship Series. Let's go. Let's go, Blue Jays. You're in there. I want to hope that they get home field advantage, right? Are they the top team in the American League? I believe that's right. Or will they have to go to the other field? Is it Seattle or Detroit they're going to have to play? We'll have to see. Milbester is a ghost. Yeah, I wish him well. If he comes in here, he shows his face, he's a brave man. And I'll give him dunks right away. Y'all go easy on him if Milbester shows up. Seriously, go easy on him. He's very much in his feelings, I'm sure, this morning, guys. Very much in his feelings. Kareem saying, watching New York crash out is comedic relief. Where's Milbester? We need to do a wellness check on him. I do. Seriously, Milbester, if you watch us later, know that I'm coming at you with sympathy and love. And I'm not mad or upset, or I'm not trying to rub it in. In some ways, I'm very joyous and jubilant that the Blue Jays beat the Yankees and put them out. Oh, yeah, I'm real happy about it. But I have another side to me that's sympathetic and caring. And, in some ways, that's the kind of energy we need more of in this world. And in some ways, I can feel bad for him, even though I'm so happy about the outcome. I can feel bad for Milbester, too, because I know how much the Yankees mean to him and baseball in general. I know how much it means to him. That's right. Wayne saying this, Martin's mistakes were brutal. However, he still managed to compose himself and execute with the three and finishing at the rim. He's solid, and he's not a project. He just be coachable, which he must be. Yeah, I need to see intangibles. I need to see his niche. I need to see this power of what he gives, that he's just so good in that. In some ways, the steals and the defensive stuff, a lot of our guys do this. You can't totally make your mark being a strong-arm shooting guard that can just steal the ball from people. In some ways, your biggest attribute that nobody else has is your crazy athleticism, Elijah. The fact that you can be Mr. Elevator and go up the elevator real quick, that's fantastic. But it's not always going to translate to the NBA with the size and speed and where you're at. In college, you could get away with that elevator shit, and it can happen on the regular. You could do it at Summer League even. But here in the NBA, this is different. And that's the thing that I worry about. He's such an athletic player that has his power from athleticism, but he's short And in some ways, a lot of that athleticism will not translate at the NBA level. So in some ways, it's, man, you got to figure it out. You better be damn for sure making your threes. And if you can steal the ball and play solid defense, that's a good start. But the fact that you are not a point guard and you're not going to be relied on to play a lot of point guard, that is a detriment. That is a detriment right there. Yeah, Neil's saying this. Let's not worry about Chucky and Elijah. Front office gave them 2 ways, so it's on them to make the most of the opportunity. Well, these guys are the beginning of journeys, and they're in places like where Justin Champagny, Ron Harper Jr., and Marquise Noel were in the past. And you can see their journeys with Jeff Doughton Jr., and different people like that. Do they want to stick around? Do they want to make a niche? And, I'm not saying this to hurt Elijah Martin's feelings. I'm saying this as a Raptors fan who wants to see him get the best possible path for success in the NBA for himself. And if there's maybe nothing I'm telling him that he doesn't already know, and he's like, yeah, well, fuck you. You don't even know me, and you don't have anything to tell me, Raptors freak. Well, it all comes from a good place in my heart. And in some ways, I want you to be successful like Fred VanVleet before you. So that's what it is right there in some ways. I don't want to be critical of him in ways that are unfair, but I do want to help in some ways, maybe illuminate areas where he can be successful in that path. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Yeah, the 2 ways give him a lot of leeway this year and maybe next year, but there's nothing guaranteed with these undrafted guys and second-round picks. Their NBA careers can end at any time like that. Trust me. Smooth saying, I'm over the moon, overjoyed. This is great. I love to hear that a friend of mine named Reggie is so happy today. I love this so much. I'm so happy for you, Reggie. I'm happy too. I'm with you in Blue Jays Nation. That's right. I'm kind of sad that I don't get to watch the excitement of this, but I'll vicariously just enjoy and celebrate with everybody. I'm full Blue Jays Nation, but I have not watched a single pitch of this postseason. And in some ways, I'm robbed for it. But in some ways, you got to do what's working, Lex. You cannot watch the games because in the history of you watching games, the Blue Jays start losing. So I'm just doing what I can to help, even though I really want to watch too. I really do. I used to love watching baseball. I used to watch a lot of baseball back in the day, like Candlestick Park and the Giants and the Oakland A's, that earthquake year. And like watching the MLB playoffs back then was something I did regularly because even when the Blue Jays weren't involved, it was exciting. And I really did learn a lot about baseball. I am learning on baseball. I do know more about baseball than I do about hockey and soccer. And maybe, I don't know, football and baseball are about equal in my knowledge. Basketball obviously is my forte and what I know the best, but I do know a lot about baseball and football to a degree. And my knowledge computer banks right here. That's right. Let's go. Smooth it was the ALDS. Next is the championship series, the ALCS. Yeah, he knows this. He's a baseball guy. He knows. He cried. You almost cried. You could cry, man. Let it out. Let that joy out, man. Let that joy out if you want to. Cheers of joy are a great thing. Come on now. Because this is probably the most unexpected run in the history of the team. That's great. It wasn't forecasted at the beginning of the year, and this is similar to the Raptors maybe this year. Nothing's forecasted for us to make any postseason noise. And if we do, well, maybe it will feel like the Blue Jays postseason run right now. And I'm all about that. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying, I think we are forgetting about Mobo. Love his switchability and his tenacity on defense. Colin and Mobo will be a menace on defense. Yeah, I mean, I like Jonathan as a player, and I think he's very good, but he does have a ceiling, once again, as another second-round pick. And once again, his career is going to be the longevity of what he makes it and how he carves out a role. And having a person like Chris Boucher around him last year can tell him, like, look, this is how I did it, guy. In some ways, I was in a similar position as you, maybe even worse, because I wasn't drafted. I came in as undrafted or something like that. And in some ways, it's like, look, it's hard. You got to make a role for yourself. And then the NBA, you'll be a commodity and you'll have a place and you'll be wanted in the league. But that's what Jonathan, Elijah, a lot of these guys got to do. They got to get that. That's right. I think Mobo really screwed up last night. And in some ways, he lost some confidence with Darko. And you may see him not start for the rest of the preseason. Let's just put it that way. I think that might happen last night because he really got in trouble. You guys saw it. Neil saying this, Grady is not having a confidence issue. He is just having a read issue. Knowing where to be can be overwhelming. The easiest thing to do is chase the ball instead of using instinctive knowledge. No, I was reading his face. and his energy. And in some ways, he's been very good at not getting into his head and worrying and getting into confidence issues. He really has had that I'm in the now mentality for the most part. And he's like trained that way with his mother, Carmen. But there was signs that in some ways things were going a little south at the beginning of the game with some of the things that happened around him. And he seemed like he might have been losing confidence. One of the things that I thought that struck me is, Grady has gained some muscle, but I also don't think Grady's exactly in the right shape right now. Seriously, I'm being completely honest. And this is from watching. In some ways, he's late on chasing people around the court. And there was a time in the game last night where Shed kind of chastised Grady for missing his assignment. And Shed had to come and pick up one of the guys Grady was supposed to be on because he was late to get over to the guy. So I could maybe say this, that maybe we were talking about Rico runs this week and the footage that came out. And when Rico said some of y'all are not in fully shape, if there was a Raptor he was talking to, is Grady. It's Grady. Because in some ways we can see the level of where Shed is at right now, RJ is at, Emmanuel is at, and Grady in some ways is huffing and puffing too much right now. And that maybe there is a chance that Rico Hines was saying, y'all need to get in better shape. And he was directing that partly at Grady Dick from the Rico runs because he could see it. He's like, oh, Grady's not got the conditioning exactly right for what he needs to be in the NBA right now. And I can see that because he does seem like he's late on chasing people on defense right now. He's really late. Like he's coming around screens and it's taking him so long to get catched up. So I don't know. Maybe Grady's conditioning isn't exactly right now. Maybe he's in some ways easing into the season, but some of these other guys are already full ready and they're running full steam already right now. And Grady is not, it doesn't look like to me. That's what I say right there. Kareem's saying the fact that the Yankees never seen the same pitcher twice is a fucking brilliant move by John Schneider. I thought the bullpen game was going to hurt us. The Yankees had no reference on the guys they were facing. Yeah, we just had their number for a couple years now. This is a trend. In some ways, the Blue Jays probably build their team in some ways to be like, we need a team that will beat the Yankees and match up really well with them. If I was in the American League East and I knew that was the team that's kind of going to be in your way all the time, I would totally be, as a general manager, making my team makeup to be conducive to be very good in that matchup. And I think that's part of the success is like the front office of the Blue Jays have built a team that matches up really well and kind of beats the Yankees. And that's smart strategy because obviously they're a thing in the path to postseason success, no matter what in the AL East. And I'm sure the Red Sox do a similar damn thing. Let's get guys who will be able to beat the Yankees because we want to match up against them at some point and beat their ass. And the Yankees lose. That's right. That's right. Right there. That's right. Blackhawks saying Mobo will play better with a true 5 beside him. I agree with that. Once again, this is the thing. Everybody on this team has to prove something right now. Nothing is given. And Jonathan, I'm not going to give you anything just because you're Scott's best friend. No, you got to earn to be on the rotation this year because we have that much talent and competition for this. And I don't want you to just get time just because Scott likes you. No, you have to earn it. And in some ways, I believe in him too. And I think he will get his just time and rotation spot with Darko. But it's precarious. It's not like, hey, you did it, you achieved it, now rest on your laurels. No, you have to be consistently achieving it over and over again, or you will get into the back of the line on the rotation again. Seriously. And I don't know if what he did last night with missing 2 assignments on 2 trips on the way down the court and absolutely allowing the Kings to walk right up to the net and just lay the ball up 2 trips in a row. And that's why Darko freaked out. He may go in the doghouse just for that. And it may be that Sandro is going to be starting at center in the game tomorrow against Boston if Jakob is not available. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. So we're saying it was a managing masterclass. The Yankees fans before the games were so arrogant. Good. And they deserve this. They were ugly. They didn't want to sell tickets to Canadians. Well, we didn't really want to come to America anyway to Yankee Stadium to play or watch y'all there. No, we aren't trying to give you tourism dollars or coming over and getting hotel rooms in New York City, just even if it's the Blue Jays in the postseason. Nah, I would say we'll stay over here and watch it on TV. and y'all not selling any tickets to us, well, good. We didn't really want to come to the States anyway, bitch. Elbows up. Shit. That's what I say about that. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying the defense is looking nice without Jakob. Damn. Last year we couldn't say this when Jakob was out. It has and it hasn't. I thought our low post defense was absolutely horrible last night. Everything in the lane was really bad. Colin doesn't know what he's doing yet. He can't really seal things out. Without Scott or Jakob out there, we are really wide open for business near the basket. And in some ways, the Kings should have used Sabonis to just beat us over the head, like down low, but he didn't. They didn't really do that. And in some ways, they played a regular preseason kind of thing where starters play this time and these other guys are going to play later, the young guys. But if they had utilized Sabonis in certain ways, they probably could have beat us last night. Because in down low, I wasn't happy with our low post defense at all last night. And not having Scott out there showed me that. Yeah, I would say the defense is good on the backcourt and in transition, but the defense down low has not looked right the first 2 games so far. Too many points in the paint for both the Nuggets and the Kings in the last 2 games. Yeah. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying BI putting up those numbers isn't new. The difference is when a player like him goes off, he needs the supporting cast to fill in defensively to get a win. Yeah. Yeah. And Brandon, in some ways, he's shown defensive liability for himself already a little bit because he's not able to get in between players and stop them from getting the basket. He has Chris Boucher skinny man issues as far as being a big man defender. And this is part of contributing to what I was just talking about, how our low post defense has not been good. There has been a couple times in these first 2 games where Brandon has been like a revolving door where guys just go right around him because he's so reedy skinny. And in some ways, he's not going to close up paint or stop people from getting the paint, seal it out. He's a better shot blocker on the weak side coming away than being straight up. The ball's coming at me. Well, in some ways, somebody could Euro step around him or just kind of muscle around him. There's some problems with that. But if we hide those kind of holes and really utilize his strengths on the defensive end, which is help defense with shot blocking and rebounding to close the possession and get the ball for us, those are the things we need from him. Sure, he can get in the passing lanes and steal too if he's like in that mid-level of the defense, not all the way down low, not all the way out. He's kind of patrolling the middle, and he's really smart and savvy. He'll run through the passing lane and steal the ball from the other team. But those are his strengths. But down low, he's not going to be able to muscle people and hold people off. And that is a detriment in some ways with Brandon Ingram. That is a detriment. But yeah, I love the minutes and I love the scoring. That's definitely good. Neil saying things will fall into place when Scotty, Jakob, and Ulrich are back. Yes, we need to use Ulrich more this season because Mobo needs to play the 3 or 4. Yeah. And that may happen a lot on 905. Seriously. I mean, I'd love to see Jonathan and Ulrich be our starting 4 and 5 down on the 905 team. And I feel like they need that time down there more and more. I mean, Jonathan has played very well on the Raptors, but I feel like what's going to happen is when we're fully healthy and we got Jakob and Scott back, it's crowded. And in some ways, if he wants to continue to develop and get the minutes, it's going to be in Mississauga. Shaq Lindsay saying in New Orleans, too many cooks in the kitchen, not enough servers doesn't allow BI to shine. Yeah, I would agree with this. I think, having CJ McCollum around him and, it's a very weird offense. Like they said in an interview with him, Kate Burness said, you're going to be playing with Scotty instead of Zion. And Zion was always shoot first and Scotty's pass first. And Brandon's face lit up. He's like, yeah, it's going to be great to work off of these guys and play with them. So, yeah, Shaq Lindsay has some good points about the difference between New Orleans and Toronto for Ingram. That's right. Kaz is here. Good morning, Lex and Rat Free Crew. Good morning to Trucker Kaz, our WNBA champion. Fantasy, salute to Seymour Pape. Shaq Lindsay saying, me too. Salute to Seymour. There you go. And Neil saying the Kings have some nice young pieces. I was impressed with some of them. Nick Clifford is an interesting player. Isaac Jones, absolutely. The stuff he did in Summer League. I thought it was interesting to see Mobo and him battle in the game last night because there was a little bit of a carryover from the Summer League game that they eliminated us out of because Jones was the dominant player in that game overall. And in some ways, there was a little bit of like, let's not let Isaac Jones look too good in this game because he looked so good against us in summer. So there was a little bit of that. So the Mobo versus Jones matchup was one I was kind of watching closely last night. Kind of watching that closely. Wayne saying, no comment on IQ. Strange, no freaks opining on that. Doesn't really matter. We're a team, and one or two players downright should not be a catastrophe. That's why we have a deep roster. Well, once again, IQ, we're all so used to seeing IQ be an offensive player mainly. And that's what I'm saying. He's adjusting right now. He's going to play two-way more, and he's going to have to get the defensive energy down first, and his offense may look weird or suffer for it, partly because this is very important to the team. We want all two-way type players. You have to play both ends. And if you're ignoring the defensive end, and in some ways, Emmanuel was able to get away with this for his basketball career because he's just such a great scorer. Well, he has to really think about playing defense more. And that may be part of the change that we're seeing in the first two games and Quickly's output is that, like I've said, they're demanding way more of his energy be spent on guarding people. And that there's going to be a balance out of it. And we're going to see Emmanuel get big, huge games and hit a lot of threes and do all he does. But there's an adjustment period to this change right now. And it'll balance out over time. In some ways, RJ's going through a similar thing, but he's balancing his offense still with his new frenetic defensive energy a little bit better than Emmanuel right now. But that's partly because RJ, like I said, he's been going and he's all warmed up and he's in regular season mode already. You can see that with RJ Barrett right now. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying one thing that I do see is BI's efficiency will be much better in Toronto. This is because he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands all the time. Yeah. Yeah. And he also, I think he's going to shoot better in Toronto because he's going to get better shot opportunities off of people like Scotty and RJ. They're all going to help each other. One hand washes the other. RJ is going to get more open looks because of Brandon. And in some ways, Brandon's going to get stuff handed to him in easier ways because his teammates are looking to pass to him and set him up real easy. And we've seen some of this stuff, like with the easy layups around the basket. He's kind of cutting, going towards the basket. You know, that kind of stuff is so easy for Brandon. The stuff outside, the threes, the turnarounds with people locking him up and guarding him, that's the harder stuff, and he still hits that. But anything kind of with cuts, like him and Grady were doing last night, is fantastic. Easy baskets. And his teammates are good passers. They'll be able to get him the ball. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying CMB is good on defense, but don't sleep on Mobo. I mean, like I said, I want everybody that is a good defender to be on this team. I want good defenders on this team. And these guys, if they get after it, they play hard, they listen to their coach, and they're doing the assignment, they have a place on the Raptors. That's the way I look at it. And that is for Jonathan. It doesn't matter how many of these guys we have, as long as we are playing good as a team and the wins are coming. That's right. James saying, in my opinion, Scotty shouldn't force his game. Be the playmaker, be the defender, and let your scorers, Ingram and RJ, get buckets. It's not going to work if everyone is trying to score. Yes. And that's why the philosophy of Darko is the 0.5 offense is a all for one for all, win for all, where the ball moves around and they're supposed to recognize when the high percentage shot is given to them, whether it's they shook the defense and they're wide open for three, whether they see a mismatch of Scotty has a smaller defender on him and they want to lob the ball to him into the post and he can make an easy shot. They're supposed to pick apart the defense, and there's no set structure of hierarchy. It's not like they're saying Brandon should just shoot all the shots. No, they're going to move the ball around, but if Brandon has a high probability to make shots, which is quite often because of his skill, he should be the option to take the shots. But if Colin Murray Boyles is getting the ball at the top of the key and nobody's going to respect his three-point shooting, he should take that three-point shot. So I've used the analogy before of the Price is Right game, the Plinko. Plinko is a game on Price is Right. Rest in peace, Bob Barker. And, you put the chip at the top and all these pegs guide where the chip lands at the bottom. And the chips where they can land is Scotty, Emmanuel, Jakob, RJ, Brandon, Grady, Colin Murray Bowles, Jacoby, Oshai. They're all got slots in there. And the chip in the Plinko game will hit different little sticks, and it will go in different trajectories. And it's not set where that chip's going to fall at the bottom of the Plinko game. In some ways, the defense and the reads of the defense are where the Plinko chip falls, and that's where the person that gets the shot should be getting the shot. So even if the Raptors want to preordain, this is how many field goal attempts you're getting for this game, they can do this to a degree. But to a degree, they also want the Plinko chip just to fall through the game and naturally fall into the slot that the best opportunity to score is. And that's predicated by the defense and what they're reading. that's predicated by that. So if you think about it that way, the Plinko chip may not fall in Emmanuel's slot very often in a certain game because his matchup is covering him very closely or something like that, you know? This is what I'm talking about. Chloe saying this, going to get my swimming trunks, going to need it to swim in Milbester Sea of Tears. It's too cold out now. I was like, man, you could go swimming a couple days ago, but man, the weather has changed here in Ontario. It went from summer to chilly. Wow, it was chilly last night. We got frost last night. And in some ways, I got to go check on my tomato plant after this stream and make sure it's not totally dead. After a bit of frost out here where I live from last night, it's really crazy. It is about that time, though. I got a really good season of growing, though. It is pretty much over, though. I cut my cucumber plant out yesterday and harvested. It was sad, but it did such a good job this year. It's so many cucumbers, and it lived for like 5 months, which was fantastic. Fantastic. Stug Deezy saying Elijah Martin, a.k.a. Off Night. You calling him Off Night? Yeah, I mean, you're going to get that Davion Mitchell nickname on there. I want him to give Off Nights to other people. But we'll see. Elijah's decision-making late in games has not been good in the last 2 games. And in some ways, that's not totally his fault. Darko's not supposed to be putting players of his experience in an NBA regular season games. It won't happen. In preseason, he'll give him a test and see what he does. And in some ways, they're not totally succeeding at the end of game management to try and keep in a winning way. And the plus minuses of those guys show that. Wayne saying, wasn't the Kings the team that beat us in the Summer League? Yes. That young crew met up again. They were confident due to that previous experience. We haven't seen the team yet without Jakob. More to come. Yeah, I would say that Kings team that beat us in Summer League kind of beat us again because they were the guys at the end of the game outscoring our Summer League guys that were at the end of the game. So it sucks. I wish, in some ways got the win and we got the receipt, but the win from that game last night was overall the starters in the second unit carrying the team for most of the game until the last 9 minutes of the game. And that last team came out and they really didn't do well. They didn't do well. That was the worst part of the game for the Raptors. And I was like, man, don't shit the bed right at the end of the game. Come on, guys. Come on, play better. Play better. The Knicks are already starting to crack is what Neil's saying. Really? You're hearing info that the Knicks are having issues already? Ooh, that's music to my ears. I love it. I love it. James saying, Lex, do you see Ingram making All-Star this year? I hope so. If he's steady and we're high enough in the standings, I mean, I'd love to have 2 Raptors All-Stars this year. I think it's very likely we'll have at least 1. But to get 2, that means we need to be top 3 in the East. To get 2 All-Stars, that probably means we have to be one of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference for us to even get that kind of possibility. And it's not likely they will even then. It's probably likely if Scotty's healthy and he plays most of the year, Scotty will be the All-Star. But there is a chance it could be Brandon instead. Scotty, you're already hurt and you're not showing up for games and you haven't done anything. Whoever puts in the work visibly for the first part of the year will get the All-Star consideration. So consider that, Scott, and make sure you're out there. And Brandon knows that. He's already going to try and go for it. I know he will. Kareem's saying, if we face the Mariners in the ALCS, all games will look like home games. Huge advantage. Well, we'll see. I don't know if that's totally true. I know Blue Jays fans travel well to Seattle, though. You're right. Kareem saying, absolutely, Lex. Our team is built to win our division. It's a pool of death. Jays are battle-tested. Yeah, I figured that. In some ways, we do the same thing here with the Celtics. There were a few years where the Raptors were kind of building a team to be Celtics killers. And that's part of the reason why we done well against the Celtics, even when they were at their apex and their championship recently. Because in some ways, it's like the Raptors were kind of building a team against the teams that they look to in the East as like, these are the teams in the way. And we got to get a team together that can compete with them and beat them. That's right. Kaloy saying Brandon Ingram is so good. Front office about to do a victory lap on all who doubted. I'd rather have BI than a lot of the stars in the East. Yeah, and he's a real one. We're going to see it more and more. Is that the end of the chat right there? All right, guys, listen, if anybody wants me to scout their fantasy team, you better ask me right now because I haven't done that yet on this stream. Let me just go. We'll do this team stats real quick. Raptors did shoot way better from 3 than from the regular field goals. It's crazy. They were 54% from 3, and they shot 46% overall. And it's crazy. That's not normal with them. It's very much the opposite. And the three-point shot is what won this for us. 20 threes made by the Raptors, only 10 made by the Kings. And we did shoot really well at the free throw line also. 82% at the free throw line. Thanks, guys, for taking that seriously. We did lose the rebounding battle by the end by 1, but we were winning it for most of the game. It's just late in the garbage time. The Kings caught up and overtook us on rebounds. The assist to turnover ratio battle was interesting. We were doing really good with it for most of the game. And then Elijah Martin, the guys came in late and just added a whole bunch of turnovers in the last 10 minutes of the game. It would have looked way better without all that stuff added at the end. But yeah, 32 assists for the Raptors. We love seeing 32 assists because that means that we're sharing the ball. And we always have the goal of getting at least 25 assists, if not 30. And then only 17 turnovers. And as I said, probably about 7 or 8 of them were just in the last 10 minutes of the game. And they were not totally looking that good for that. The assisted turnover ratio for the Kings, 25-19. So we didn't get as many turnovers on the Kings. Credit them for playing pretty solidly against our attack. I don't think we were playing all out on defense like we did against the Nuggets, though, too, to get 31 turnovers on the Nuggets, only 19 on the Kings. Fast break points, they actually beat us on that, and they beat us on the points in the paint, too. So, yeah, but the largest lead in the game was 25 for the Raptors at a certain point. And, well, they really did kind of beat them the whole entire game, which was fantastic. Fantastic stuff. All right, let's see. Let's do the Raptors Reddit reaction. Let's see. Could Colin Murray-Boyles be as impactful as OG Anunoby as a wing defender? I think so. I think that this is a good comparison, actually, guys. In some ways, the route of OG is something that Colin should kind of study. As far as OG got his defensive side of things totally locked down, and he learned the NBA game from that side. And then the offensive stuff's come more and more as years go on. I think that there could be a similar path for Colin in that way. But I would say this. I think the offensive stuff comes more naturally for Colin than OG in some ways. Seriously. Like it comes more easily to him. But I think much like Scotty and OG, the Raptors want Colin Murray-Boyles to nail down the defensive end of everything first. And then, the offensive stuff, if it comes naturally in games from garbage points or just taking random threes because he's open, that's great. But they may not put much focus in directing any offense through him until later in his career, kind of like OG did. OG didn't start getting touches on the outside to either drive or take threes until later in his career. He was kind of garbage man. He was just kind of filling in and getting this there, this here, but not really any offense going through him. Well, Colin could be the similar thing in that way. Now, the question is he going to be as good a wing defender as OG? I could see him doing that, yeah. It's the combination of strength and speed and the defensive aptitude. So I could see this. This is not something we should just bandy around that, this guy's going to be like OG. This guy's going to be OG. OG's on a whole weird level, of defender in the NBA. And if Colin Murray-Boyles is getting that kind of comparison, that's a good thing. And I don't think it's overstating it, honestly. This guy is tired, like Chris Boucher at the end of the bench. He's saying, me after watching both the stressful Leafs and Jays game at the same time, I was ready to go to bed, but then I had to stay up and watch the Raptors too till 1 o'clock. Yeah. And they got Chris Boucher collapsed at the end of the bench right there. That's right. There you go. All right. There's your Raptors Reddit reactions and stuff like that. Yeah. Some idiots on there saying we need to trade Barnes. I'm not even going to give that the time of day right now. There's no point. Happy birthday to Juan Dixon. Juan Dixon played for the Raptors for 2 years out of Maryland. He played for the College of Maryland Terrapins. He played 62 games for the Raptors over 2 years and averaged about 7 points per game. You guys remember Juan Dixon? Well, happy birthday to Juan. I believe Juan is, as of today, he is 47 today. So happy 47th birthday to former Raptor Juan Dixon. That's right. Juan is his birthday today. That's the birthday for today. Let's see. What else do we got on the tabs that I need to get to so that I don't forget anything? Let's see. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Seymour saying champ, truck a Kaz, and Fiercely saying sharing is caring. I like that. I like that. Seymour's got praise for eye candy. Kaz is saying CMB will be a better player than OG in my opinion. Well, that's a lofty goal, He's got a lot of time to do, but that's possible. It is. I think that in some ways he may be a better offensive player than OG. Maybe not a better defender in some ways, but very close. I don't know. This is tough to say. OG struggles with his drives. Yeah. Colin does seem like he's a better ball handler than OG already. In some ways, he does already seem like he handles the ball a little bit better than OG on the dribble. And we've seen that. He had that dribble in from the corner in the first game. That's right. Seymour saying CMB over OG. Oh, my. Wow. Okay. I can see it. I'm taking notes. It's a little early to say this. Let's see what's going on 4 years from now. And then we'll see where Colin Roy Bowles is. We'll check in on it. We will revisit this. That's right. All right. Nobody wants their fantasy team looked over? If anybody here has their fantasy team, they want me to check it out, I'll review your fantasy team for our Raptor Freak NBA Fantasy League right now. Fiercely, you wanted me to do it yesterday. Are you still here, MJ? Do you want me to go over your fantasy team, or Cass? Do you want me to look at yours? I see that you are two of the people that are still here that are in the fantasy league in the chat. Yeah, all right. Fiercely jumped on it. She said, yes, please go check out my team. All right. You asked it for it yesterday and said, if you ask me today, I'll do it. So the Rock Wilders is a journey as a franchise in our league for a couple of years now. Fiercely had some learning curves to make as a rookie. And, every year she's improved. And that's all you want from a fantasy franchise. So the Rock Wilders, let's see who she's got. She's got TJ McConnell starting at a point guard. Now, is he actually he's still the backup. So he's not considered the starter for the Pacers, but I'm sure he's going to have to play a lot because of Halliburton's injuries. So in some ways I was like, yeah, you could do better. You could get a real starting point guard if you want and not a backup, but it's okay. TJ's a solid player. Lugetz, I love Lugetz. I love that he's on your team. It's just like with Cool Cat and Pascal. I love that Fiercey got Lugetz. Great Canadian content. North Montreal represent. That's right. I like Ayo. Ayo was somebody I was actually going to draft. I was thinking about getting him around the time when you got him, but you snatched him from the draft room before I was possibly going to take Ayo Dosunmu. So that's pretty good. I love that you have our guy Star J, of course. Oh, yeah. I love that you got Star J Barrett for sure. Oh, of course. I love that. OG. You got OG also? Oh, yeah. She's got a good team. In fact, I think her team is my favorite team that I've reviewed this week now. So if I'm putting them in order, it's Fiercey, James, and then Nako, I think, and then Kareem. I think that's the order that I like so far. Dylan Brooks, hello. Dylan Brooks could be a very interesting fantasy player for Phoenix this year. He has opportunity to fill it up in different ways on the Phoenix team because in some ways they may need him more on Phoenix than they did in Houston for stats, like offensive stats instead of just defensive stuff. So we could see Dylan Brooks actually make a step as our villain Dylan out there in the Valley of the Sun. Jalen Duren's a fantastic center, and so is Miles Turner. I like your centers there. Jaden McDaniels is the right McDaniels to have. You got our Slim Duck on your bench. I love seeing Chris Boucher there too. Yeah, this team is awesome. I like your team a lot. Buddy Hield's a solid player coming off the bench. The one thing I will say is, like I said, I don't know if you have a true point guard, starting point guard. I would maybe try and get somebody like that, or maybe you don't care. Maybe you can just play it this way and just play mostly shooting guards because Luke Kennard's not a point guard, even though he has eligibility there. And Fiercey, if I was going to give you any advice, I would maybe go to the waiver wire. And if you're going to switch somebody out, like maybe put McConnell and Dort or whoever is injured on the injured reserve and use your open spots to try and go get another point guard because I see a lack of point guards on your team. And if that's the thing I say. I love your players, though. I love Lugetz. I love Ayo. I love RJ. I love OG. I love Dylan. I love Jalen Duren. I love Chris Boucher. I love Buddy Hield. This is fantastic. You got some real good three-point shooting on your team, too, with Duncan Robinson, Isaiah Joe, and Luke Kennard down near the end. DeAndre Hunter is also a solid on the down low player for Cleveland. So, yeah, thumbs up. My favorite scout so far this week of all the fantasy teams is Fiercey's. And it's partly because she has former Raptors and RJ. It's partly right there. That's right. Kaz, if you can get your review in maybe in the next couple of days, we'll do you next. That's right. Kareem Thomas saying CMB's first touch was a drive past Joker for a layup. Let that be a sign for future things to come. I like that. I like that sentiment. All right, let's get that card out. We're at 2:38. You know, these reaction streams may go 3 hours because I know you guys want to say stuff and talk it out. Once again, also the phone line is open. Check Lindsay. If you did find the number, you can still call me. If you want to. All right. Who is that? Oh, wow. This is weird. This is very weird. This is a day late though. It's a day late. Here is the classic car of the day. Can you tell me who this classic car of the day is? Not very totally classic. This is funny. This is a day late on what we should be saying. Kaz is saying Yahoo app is so ass. Everyone's able to pick up players from the waiver wire, but for me, it says full every time. Really? You got to make sure that you've moved your guys to the injured reserve to get them. You got it, Slug DZ. It is Thomas Bryant. It is Thomas Bryant. Of course, we had some controversy about how we look at Thomas Bryant as a player on our stream yesterday, but now he's come in and he's a classic car of the day today. That's very weird. You did. You put Kyrie on it. You did. Well, I don't know what the issue is. It could be, you know what? This is the other thing. If you've made a certain amount of transactions this week, you're limited. So if you made 5 transactions already, Cass, you have to wait till next week to make the next 5. So there's a rule in the league that you can only do 5 transactions a week. So I think that's what it is. So it's I think it's basically that you may have done so much waiver wire work already that you did your 5 transactions for this week, and you'll have to wait till next Monday to do the next one. It says 0 out of 5. That's not it. Well, I don't know what's going on then. I don't know why they're doing that to you. There is a 1-day waiver wire waiting period on any players that get dropped that are out in certain places. So I don't know, Kaz. I would just keep working with it, and maybe you'll figure it out what the hell is going on. It should be doing the same thing to all of us. So it shouldn't be anything that's particular for you, just so you know. Yeah, Slug DZ, you got it. And it's 50 points. I don't know, 100 points. I'm going to give you 100 because this guy is not totally known. And it was the shiny card, maybe a little difficult to see. So I'm going to give you 100 points for Thomas Bryant. Once again, synchronicities abound on the Raptor Freak channel because we were very much talking about Thomas Bryant very in depth yesterday, but he comes around. He's our classic card today. 100 points for Slug DZ. Well, I'm starting to call him the king of the classic card. Smooth's not really involved in classic card like he used to be. He used to be the king of the classic card, but I think Slug DZ's got that mantle now. I think he's the king of the classic card. He's the one who gets these really obscure ones and the older ones too. The older ones, that's right. Cool Cat saying Siakam year 10 is emotional ride for me. There you go. She's got him on her fantasy team, and she gets to earn all the stats with Siakam for her fantasy output. And that's just, it's awesome. And I think once again, just like TJ McConnell, just like Aaron Neesmith, all those Pacers are going to have a little bit of an uptick because of Halliburton's absence. And these guys should be a little bit better on fantasy, partly for that. Ben Mathurin, we're expecting big things from you this year. That's right. W Stream, W Community, I appreciate that. Kareem, you're not live. You're behind on the Thomas Bryant. I'm sorry, my guy. Slug DZ is con and gotten. He got to the spot faster than you. That's just how it is. That's just how it is today. All right, no more calls, no more anything else. We're going to wrap it up right now. Good job, Raptors, beating the Kings in your second preseason game last night. You know, I thought that you guys started very well, Brandon Ingram especially. And we just saw solid contributions in good ways as a team. It was a collective. There wasn't like it was Brandon for sure as the figurehead, but the rest of the guys were all kind of equally giving inputs and helping accumulate everything for the Raptors. And the high scoring was a real big part of it. I mean, they had 100 points by the end of the third quarter, and that's fantastic. So good job, Raptors. The end of the game was ugly, and I was really getting pissed off at the end of the bench and the way they were playing so sloppy. And I'm sure film session today we'll go over a lot of stuff for that unit that was out there at the end and just kind of go over where the hell, what this was and this and that and stuff like that. That's always what is best about these games is film session afterwards. We'll fix a lot of stuff and young minds on our team will learn and they will be better as players as time goes on. Tomorrow we play the Celtics and I will have the preview tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. The latest lineup news, the ref report, and the keys to the victory is the path to the victory to win. Yeah, we'll do all that tomorrow, the regular stuff on this channel. My stars of the game, once again, for the game last night, Brandon Ingram, number 1 star. Grady Dick, number 2. Jacoby Walter, number 3. Colin Murray Boyles, number 4. And Chucky Hepburn was my 5th star. And honorable mentions go out to A.J. Lawson and Jamal Shedd for their parts in the game last night also. All right, y'all, be good. Be awesome. That's what E.T. would say. Be good, Elliot. And put good in the world. Like our friend Randolph Phillips says, use your gifts for God to be good for God in life. And all the glory to God above. Thank you for another day. Thank you for Raptors basketball. Thank you for beating the Yankees. The Yankees lose. And just thank you for the good things in life. And may all the bad, evil people in this world perish. and get what they deserve in the end for the evil that they are doing right now. This Iron Maiden song, "The Evil That Men Do," lives on. And I want this evil period that's going on right now not to go too much further on, but the damage is done. And in some ways, there's going to be a lot of healing and picking things up after the travesty of MAGA America. So, yeah, I just keep going on and hold out. And we will do what we can to heal the world in the better place. Practice gratitude and do your part in your part of the world. And use your part to resist. Seriously, because there's just a lot of really messed up stuff happening. And we can't have that, especially up here in Canada. That's right. That's right. Thank you, Isaac, for putting me on blast. I'm the whole team this time. I'm the whole team. All right, y'all. Love you guys. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo. Let's go Blue Jays. Thank you for the Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. The Yankees lose. A-Rod. The